Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum. Everybody says it's a wonderful day. Don't sit yet. Don't sit yet. You got to let this simmer down. I'm pleased to see you all, the king, put forth the effort to come and see me and see what we're doing and see what I have done with your finances or efforts or energy that you've been sharing with us. Today we're going to get into about business, and I would like for you to pay close attention because it's going to be from the spiritual sense, the very beginning of business. You all may be seated. Can you hear me? A wonderful day that we do not intend to ever let the sun set on. We have to be very serious in our thinking concerning what this time is actually representing. This is not a convention, a mass of slogans, and after you leave here today, it sounded good and that's the end of that. But what it is the necessary energy that we need. Like food gives us for the body to continue on performing its functions, to cause us to move around. This is the time that Allah in the person of Master Farad Muhammad showed up in July the 4th, 1930. This is the beginning of the fullness of his appearance. Do we have any ministers, preachers, clergy here today? Good. So I would assume we have some Christians here also. I want to let you know about myself concerning what you believe and what you know and what you understand. I'm one that was also brought up in the church before I was introduced to Islam as we know it from the messenger. And I also loved what the teacher or the ministers were preaching. I didn't understand it, but it sounded good. However, since I came into being a man now, in the form of knowledge and understanding, I understand what the preacher was saying and what the Bible reads and what the Quran also reads. I understand it now. However, the understanding has put me into motion, not so much to be seen, but the things that is coming from me and what is done, you see evidence of me physically. This is to be done all over North America, 2,000 by 3,000 miles. I want you to pay close attention. I've been thinking and thinking and thinking how to get across to you what the reality of what the Bible reads and what you hear coming from the preacher. Our people have a mental impasse when it comes to the acceptance of the knowledge of God. Not the knowledge, but just the acceptance of it. We have been so conditioned to accept it only one way. And from the way that we have accepted it, we can see as a people, not a person, but as a people, it has not served us. Are we taking questions today? I guess we are. I see the mics. Whatever you hear me go through, if you have a question at the end of this, you may ask me. However, we as a people have not benefited and I'm not saying this to insult anyone, I want you to actually think. From what the Bible reads or what the preacher tells us. We have been trying to make ourselves be accepted by another idea or another people, making them to accept us as though we are one of them, or we are just as equal or great as they. And the way that the Bible has been taught to us, we believe that's the way it should be. We have now over 400 years to prove that is not the case. Now, I've been doing this now approximately 3 years in the public. In the public. You may say, well, I haven't heard anything about you. That don't make any difference. What I've been doing to get to this point, I had to have been doing something. And because you didn't know, listen carefully today and weigh it according to facts. And that will let you know if I was indeed doing something before you knew me. There are so many of us that have the potential and the finance to actually get us out of this condition that we're in overnight. Overnight. And when I mean overnight, almost literally the 12 hours of the 24-hour day. But what is stopping us? We're being taught to be separatists. The I syndrome. If we're going to talk about God, you have to follow the way I say it. If we're going to be a leader in the community, you have to do it the way I say it. And you lose. You make nothing but enemies. And we've been following a man, or trying to make ourselves like a man that is the enemy to truth. And since he's a natural enemy to truth, because we made him that way, if you follow him, you can only be that way whether you want to or not. You have no other course to take. Now let's get to the business of actually being busy in building. We have been so personal. We haven't met anyone until now that you can actually trust that they will do the right thing. And since you haven't, it has made it very, very, very difficult for me or anyone that is like me, to make any meaningful progress. Because you are waiting to see the catch. You're waiting to see the trick. So much so you're not listening at what's being said. If what I'm sharing with you is mathematics, in order for me to share it with you where it's perfect, I have to be employing it. And I'm not sharing mathematics in a formula where we just study science, or we study economics, or we study some type of botany. I'm sharing the mathematics that brings about creation, that entails all of this. However, the people that stands before you that have your attention, that are called the reverends and the preachers, they have your ear. And those of you that they don't have, because the young people haven't received anything from what is being taught from the pulpit, they don't trust nobody. So when I do show up and have something for them to do, they're so far behind, and even in the ability to think rational, it's hard to do anything with them. But have hope that they'll listen long enough to start to give their own self-discipline. I know I'm going to talk about business in a moment. However, when I stepped to the podium, something came over me. This is more people today, I think, than we've had in one gathering. However, this is a place where the black man is to be stood up, and you should stand up to receive the blessings of Allah, which is myself, and therefore in return, give it back. We'll make this a circle. Now, everything that I've said concerning Kansas City, Kansas and Missouri, those of you all that are here that have heard, this place should be full. If I come forward with a banking plan and you get your own, I don't need the money for me, just for me. The money is needed to bring forth this idea of perfection. And in order for me to know that you want it, you have to give to yourself. You put it in the banking system that we have set up under your name. And when we have a system set up, you get it back. So it's not like you gave me anything and I kept your money. But during the time that I had it or have it, we do something that is worthwhile or that makes us independent. We own the earth, but we can't prove it. We own the Bible and the Quran and the people that wrote it and you that read it, but we can't prove it. Now, you've had all these things before me. We had a message to come to you for 40-some years to administer the message. Because of you, we had to take him away. Not because of white people. We already knew them. We knew what we made them to do. But because of the burden of your rebelliousness not to accept the message nor him, we took him away. But it's not like I'm angry because of that, because we wrote it before it happened. Daniel asked, how long? We told him to wait until the powers are scattered. And the one that maketh the temple desolate is set up. Wait until the appointed time or the end. And it tells us how long that would be. The messenger told us about the overnight, and I'm speaking to this because I believe we have quite a few Muslims. And because the messenger was here and expressed the message, and those of you that accepted it at the time, and when the messenger was taken away, and those of you that kept it in your heart and in your mind and were made right, you still couldn't do anything until I arrived. You can't step before God. You can only get ready or prepare for him. Now, those of you all that were with the messenger that are not here, those of you that are here, let the ones know that are not here that I'm here. Don't hold yourself back any longer. Make yourself known so you can be paid, or the promise can be made real to you. Money was the first thing. Good homes and friendships in all walks of life. Peace of mind. That's greater than all I mentioned. And contentment. This is what I'm here to do. I heard the minister saying about the child is born, or son is given. He shall be the Prince of Peace. The Prince of Peace. This is what I am. In order for us as a people, and it shouldn't be no question in no one's mind whether we as a people is going to make it in this world without a mighty God that has your interest in mind. You can't say, well, he has to have everybody's interest in mind. That's not so. We had the Caucasians' interest in mind for 6,000 years. And we wouldn't let you, that is the God, interfere with him. And when he didn't know something, we would send you on his job and let you show him. And after you show him, then he takes his position over you. So we didn't interfere with him. And his nature is not to give it up to you because you're God. You know you God. He's not going to just give it to you. You have to show that you are at least worthy enough to take it in a way where he can still exist. And if he is of the mind to lend a hand to this Solomon then we have a place for him for 1,000 years. But in order for us to know exactly who is with us and who's with this idea, you got to put forth the effort like the sister said. I'll protect you. I love to do that. I know I heard the messenger say, Allah loves to fight for you, to do your battle. At the time, I didn't understand it, what it really means. But now I do. Because I found that I am Allah. And when you make a step towards me, in honesty, not in the form of trickery, because I let people do that also. To let them see, I don't have to stop them when they come in. But it's also written, when you dig a ditch for me or the righteous, be careful you don't fall in it. Now, I hope I haven't offended anyone, but I would like very much for the pastors and the preachers and those ones that are dealing with the Christians, you're going to have a not exact, but you're going to have a good understanding of what's really written in the Bible and who really wrote it and why it was written the way it was wrote. If that's said correct, you're going to have to know. It's also written in the Bible, when the God came and he was doing all these things, you paid him no attention. And when the misery started to come upon you, afflictions, you ran and knocked. He says, I know you not. And believe me, you're going to come knocking. You're going to come knocking. Now let's get into the business part of this. You know, I heard the secretary mention about 70,000 years ago. This is true. This plan was implemented or was drew up to be implemented 70,000 years ago. Now, we were taught that the 12 major scientists that we know of in the last 25,000 years or 15,000 years kept the knowledge amongst themselves. So the masses of the people didn't know. It wasn't necessary. We can say, well, how do we know this is true? There's another organization that practices almost the same thing. It's called the Masons. They keep their knowledge in the way of a secret. But from this 70,000 years up until now, there are no more secrets. The sun is coming out and shining on everything. I'm a very patient individual. However, there is still a limit on that. There are millions of black people here in Kansas City, Missouri. Millions. You would be hard-pressed to find one that can say anything negative of me and it be true. But where are they? We were here, I think it was in January or before January, met with some preachers, and we were supposed to give an outcome of that conference as to what took place. The last word that came to me, now when we were doing it, they were telling us that this is unprecedented, has never been done before, especially with such acceptance and harmony as the way it came across. We went and did our part. We were supposed to draw a contract with them. We drew it up. And from what was told to me, it was accepted by the ones that asked us to draw it up. However, the ones that they presented it to, their other counterparts, could not accept it because it implied that I'm God. They didn't say anything else that was written in there is wrong. They liked it. But the implication that I'm saying that I'm God stopped them. Well, this is the business that I'm really in, dealing with your thinking. That's the real business. Now, I'll say this again like we said in the beginning that made this language the way it is. business. 70,000 years we uttered be, and it is. So we left out and it is, or and it, and just say business. Be is. You got it? I'm saying this is God speaking. I don't know what it means to you. Some people, it frightens to death. Is this really God? They shut up. They're so guilty. Their self-accusing spirit whipped them so hard they run. We have spoke with people almost a half a day or more, and they were so accepting, they were really into it, and we would say, well, yes, I'm God. Look like something come over them, terror hits them. We don't hear from them no more. Well, who you been looking for? Who you been waiting for? I'm not here to do you any harm. You're harming yourself without my help. I'm here to punish the man that put us in this condition, to get him off us forever. Now, if you want to stay with him, then you get what he gets. It don't make no difference how hard you're praying. It don't make no difference with that. In the Holy Quran, it says the mere remembrance of Allah is better than prayer. So you can pray 5 times, 100 times a day. It makes me no difference. I will not hear you if you continue to accept that God is other than man. You know, it's much like a man having a wife. He gets married. And the sister that he's marrying, her father gives her to you. However, once you get her in your home, which becomes yours and hers, she does nothing you say. She has to call and ask her father everything. But the father gave her to him. The brother that has received such a sister, at first he may say, well, let me see how far is this going to go. But if it continues constantly over and over again, he begins to see he don't have no wife. Because the sister never left her father. It's no different with me, with you all. You and another man's idea and you refuse to let it go. You refuse to let it go. So what do you expect me to do? Be nice? No, I'll be God. And whatever you're in, remember what it says. Friendships in all walks of life. I can talk to the crook. I can talk to that woman that's supposed to have cut off the child's head and get something happen. Something positive from her. I don't have to be angry and all upset because she did that. That's already written too. All kinds of atrocities are going to take place in that time. Matter of fact, some of the sisters that's pregnant will lose their child. They're literally losing. You go to bed with your hair black and wake up with it white. I'm saying this because the place should be full. I'm not saying that you should be grateful to me, but you should see the idea and want to participate in it. I'm really talking to the empty seats, not you all that's here. But you know enough people that will fill up these seats, so you go and tell them. All right? All right, I'll get back to this again. To this being, let it become is. Between be and is a long time, depending upon what you're saying be. If you say, well, we must have perfection, so I say, let it be. It's not going to happen like that. If you say, well, I want to have a son, so I think I'll impregnate Mary. She had to go 9 months also. He didn't just come and jump out. Is that clear? Now, we intend to have businesses in a way where you can actually participate physically in it so it will cause you to think. We got to have something to do. the devil or white folks or the Caucasian tells us an idle mind is the devil's workshop. And you can ride up and down any street, I don't know about here in Kansas, but most streets that I've been into the large cities and see a lot of idle minds. They're doing nothing. So it means that the devil has a large workshop. Now, I need someone that wants to be righteous and work and promote righteousness. But it's already written that the laborers would be few. Wouldn't be very many. Well, if you're really with me, it's not going to take many. We won't like it because it's not many, but we're not going to stop because it isn't. Is that clear? Well, going back to the God, these are God speaking now. I'm speaking with the original Allah. And because I came into his abode without him knowing it, it automatically let him know that this is a God above God. So I'll have to accept him after I thoroughly question him. I'll have to accept him as being God of gods, Lord of lords, King of kings. Now, after we seen what the problem is and agreed upon how we would solve it, we went about saying be and making the business, bringing it into existence as exactly how it's going to take place. Are you all being bored? Yes, sir. Naturally, he had to check me. First thing he asked me is, how did you get in here? Here's someone that had constructed a whole universe. And they have means of knowing if you think they can pick it up. How did I get into his home? And he never detected it until I was standing before him. Are you listening? And from that, we decided to let's get rid of your problem, which is called negative. Always nagging, negative, nagging him. Now let's go into the business of actually doing this. What I'm going to do is show you all that I have created and made. And I'm going to give you the schematics of it. And what we're going to do is cause certain angels to come about in certain different times to make sure that the clock is steady ticking or bringing it towards its perfection or to your actual presence in the physical form. You know, we have in our lessons, those of us that are Muslims, that every 25,000 years that we renew our history. You may say, well, Brother Solomon, you just said 70,000 years. This is true. This is when the God and I got together. However, what he has created and made is to such vast numbers and levels of ideas in mathematics that it has taken a time because we let things happen naturally. It has taken 70,000 years for this to actually come into its fullness. I hope you all are listening. Are you? Yeah. Now remember, you didn't get the Bible a little bit more than 100 years ago. Now I'm talking 70,000 years. But you didn't get the Bible. And when he gave it to you, he gave it to you upside down. Well, this is true. And then when they gave you the authority or the right to teach it, they couldn't give you no authority. But when they gave you a right to stand in the pulpit to teach it, they gave you the license to do it. I want you to just keep that in mind. So what you hear me saying, I don't want you going away and say, well, this brother is crazy. That we would allow this force to manifest itself in a period of time when we had everything, after I had learned everything that the God had already created and made. And that all of the angels would agree with the God that I can do this. or would do this. Now, you're not going to hear this in church. But if you remember it and still go back to it, I'm not saying don't go to church. When you go back to church, remember what you were hearing. And then what you hear from the pulpit will make better sense to you. And when you go to tell the preacher, get ready to leave because he's going to put you out of the church. Just come on over with us. I'm telling you because it's already happened time and time again. You know, we think, I hope I'm not rambling, but we think God is so lofty, but when we really think about it, in your mind, God is really weak. The reality of it, in your mind, God is weak. If it were not so, you wouldn't be so frightened when the idea of perfection comes before you and we start the dialogue on it. You're so afraid of what you're going to hear is going to supersede what you believe, you close your ears. So it's almost difficult for me to really get into the 70,000 years and talk about it. But I don't want to talk about the business like we got a restaurant or we got a supermarket. That's nothing. It's business, but it's nothing. Then, you know, it's like you sitting at home and your mother go to the stove or to the refrigerator, pull out some food, that's the supermarket, and she goes and put it on the stove and cook it, and that's the restaurant. But you don't pay no attention to that because it's supposed to happen. This is what I'm doing here. Because we're doing this, we're operating at such a low level of awareness. This seems like, well, this is great, it's big, it's not. We're supposed to be mastering the earth itself. It weighs 6 septillion tons. If you're operating the way we're supposed to be able to lift it with one hand. I'm telling you what I know. I listen to, like I said, I'm just getting some things off my mind. I'm still going to get into business. I'm listening to some representative of mine that was on the radio on the midnight shift. And I hear some brothers call in, and they speak so adamantly as though it's impossible for me to be God. And the brother would explain to them so patiently and so accurately and so mathematically. And when he finished, by the time the last word vibrated, they were back in as though he said nothing. I'm listening. They don't know God is listening. I'm listening at this. And I'm thinking to myself, you mean to tell me in this great city, white people are going to come to help us before black people? I'm going to say this again because I don't think you understand what I'm saying. In this great city, we have to understand that we made this man a master. And what he mastered wasn't things. He mastered the idea that you had in your mind to keep you from ever rising. So he got to know who you are. He can't be in wonder who these people are. He knows who the black man and woman is. He knows. But he also knows that the ones that don't know don't make no difference. The ones that's in position of power is the one that know. And that makes all the difference because he is supposed to tell his brother and sister. But once he tells them, they go right the way he's doing. Now, if you think that's a lie, check the Pope out. The Pope of Rome, he knows. He's got a black Madonna. Now, if he wanted you to be free, which I have come here to actually do, I don't have to. I don't need not one of you. I'll do it myself. I won't have no one to bear witness that I did it, but the next crop that do come up, I have to make them out of rocks. They'll come up and say, oh, praise due to Allah, I'm with you. And you know who the rock is? Do you know who the rock is? It's the white man. The second uncle. Because he never disobeyed his nature. So much so he's a rock. But you, the God of him, refuse to accept the laws and principles to be God, not to be God over him, but just to be God. So you can make it rain when you want it to rain. You make the sun shine when you want it to shine. Reflect the temperature of however warm you want it. To make your brother and sister happy perpetually. And to put him in check just by what you're doing. You don't have to go to him and put him in jail or make anything. Just doing what you're supposed to do automatically puts him in check. You know, white people have what they call a banking system or Wall Street or the stocks and bonds or the stock market. Who do you think runs that? I'm the mathematician. If I wanted to go up, I let it go up. If I wanted to come down, I let it come down. And what did the messenger say concerning that? This is the 4th of July. They're always going around bursting firecrackers and whatnot, making big sounds. Did not the messenger in the message tell us that this man was going to go out with a big boom? The stock market was going to rise to a height unprecedented. And suddenly, whoo. Did that? Were we not told that? Well, who is the master of the math other than me? I want you with me so I can show you how to be God, and I want to see you being it. I don't want just a restaurant. But however, like the sister said, what you have that we have shared with you, in the Quran reads that you're supposed to share it back of that which we have gave you. Not give it to no particular individual, but give it to an idea that shows to you mathematically that it is infallible. Now that idea is wrapped up into one. It is myself. And I'm not going to, I'm in such a way I cannot be polluted. I can't lose the idea because I am that. I can't be swayed away from it because I don't have no attraction stronger than the idea that I am. I can't be given, you can't bribe me with money. With sisters, I made them. I want you to understand that. And everything that I am, you are to be. You are to be everything that I am. If that were not so, it would not be written in the Bible that God ended death. I want you to think, not just in terms that we get in a supermarket and a restaurant and a school and apartment building and farmland. We own all of it. What we want to get to be doing is controlling it from the idea of it. Now, we're not going to get, as the United Nation of Islam, we're not going to get a lot of buildings that we built. We're getting just enough to everyone to see exactly what's taking place. But I'm going to I'm controlling the thoughts and the minds of the people that is running business now. Are you listening? This devil has built some magnificent buildings. I don't want to take it from him and tear it down because he's got it. He belonged to us. The building belonged to us. In other words, it belongs to a civilized society. So what we do, we implement the laws. And you know what I do? You may say, well, yeah, you can make a law, but the devil's already written. There's no law that the black man can come up with that he's going to obey. Oh, really? Who is it that makes rain, hail, earthquakes? Did it say white man or the son of man? I want you to know who's with you. However, I'm not going to show a display of power in your favor with you knowing it. It's going to be in your favor, but you're not going to know it unless you are with this idea. If I tell white people, listen, we want this block. You got the money. You're 90 years old. We allow you to have from $20 to $35 million that you have no place to put it. Now, we want the block. Well, I'm not going to do that. Why not? I'm not asking you to do something that is going to hurt you. I'm not asking you to give up something that you have a law that you're going to see, well, I lost. So why not? Well, I'm afraid that it will come out to be a loss. Well, how are you going to lose with God? How are you going to lose? And then if they say, well, I don't know, but I still feel that way. All right, well, I'll show you what loss is. Are you listening? I know I say this more than once. You get it and you go home and you listen to it over in your privacy, your home or in your car or whatever. And it's always stimulating. But you know, I always warn and warn and warn at least 3 times before what you're being warned about actually comes about. White people know me. I won't have no problem getting whatever I want from them, especially if you are in agreement with me. Are you listening? Now, how would I know that this is true? They are about to cut you off. Not about, they're already in the process of doing it. Cutting you off. Now, they're cutting you off. The ignorant, dumb, blind person that they made. I hope you listen. When they ride up and down the street or see you coming to their establishment, a place of business, looking like Wolfman, they're not going to give you nothing. They say, look, cut them people off. No more welfare, no more food stamps. Forget them. Let them die. However, when they see me, Brother Solomon, what is it I can do? You understand what's being said? Well, if you don't do something right away, it's going to be quite a few of us shedding many tears for those that we know that's part of our family that refuse to come, refuse to even think. Or they think that they're going to wait until the last minute and God is God, He's love, so I'll just jump in and God will understand. No, that's not the way we do things. That's not the business of being God. When you get into any bit, I hope we have some business people here today, so I know you will understand. Any business that you go into to start, you got to work out the plans of it. I think I heard there's a lawyer here. She can attest to this. You got to draw up your plans. It's got to be worded right so he can't sneak in, mess things up. Everything's got to be on the paper and everything first. In other words, it means that you got to go through some detailed thinking. How much more detail should you get into than being with me? If you think God is love and He's just going to accept you all at once because you say, well, yes, now I see and I'm with you. No, I don't know you. Because the whole time I've been standing before you, we start to bring this before you, you said I'm everything but God. Everything but that. I'm really upset with these preachers. Because it's a lot of brothers and sisters that would be with us. Right in their church. They don't have to come to no place like this. We shouldn't even be in no place like this. I ride them down the street and see all these great, big, fine churches. Black people got them. We got to come over here and rent the school, pay for rental. After all the money we pay for it, come up, the sound system ain't working. All of that, I'm not saying it was done intentionally, but it's like it's a tile. And it's the time period. I have to do what I'm going to have to do or say to you and leave at a certain time so that you can eat, enjoy yourself, and leave and keep our contract to the school. Are you listening? I'm still talking about business because it hasn't got to be is yet, I-S. You know, the messenger said be stronger than anyone else. You had all these others, Noble Jew Ali, and the minister like go through this whole litany of how many people did what. The messenger said be. I'm the is of what he said. So, and I remember he always spoke to the preachers, always trying to get them to invite him or his people there at the church. Always. And you know the first people I deal with when I appear? It is those ones that are supposed to be representing me. I deal with you first. And if you're in error, willingly, then I deal with you in a manner in which you dealt with me or what you heard concerning this. It won't be favorable until you show that you really understand the term. Oh, the wonders of being God. There's nothing greater than being rejected by your own family. supposed to know you. And I'm not talking about personal family, but the preachers are supposed to know you. You into the books all the time. You have gotten the people that is with you or following you to donate large sums of money or enough money to erect large buildings for them to come once or twice a week and sit in and to give more money. And when they leave, anyone that is with me, which we don't have a building that we of our own that we're not renting, if we either one that's with me go to any Christian and speak to them, right away it's an argument from them. Well, let's say it this way. Since the brother says it's not true, with him, perhaps it's not. Well, I'm expressing this to the best that I think it should be according to who I'm talking with. And because of the statements, it lets me know how far I can go. You know, since we're teaching, this is what really needs to be known. How God do things. You never tell God what to do. Because I never tell you. I tell you what's going to happen. But I never tell you what to do. I tell you what has to be done. Are you listening? All right, well, let's get back to this business. Maybe you all understand that. And if there's a reverend here or a minister or preacher that is in accord with this and believes that I am God, well, then you make sure that you speak with all of your parishioners or the ones that are with you and cause them to understand. Now, if you don't speak with us more than, or don't speak with us frequently, you will only have it in your heart, but you won't have the knowledge to actually show them that this is really the real deal. You can only tell them from what you believe. And belief is out of time today. You have to know. And the only way you're going to know is you have to be able to prove it mathematically. Because life is mathematics. And mathematics is life. Now, after this 70,000 years, and we brought it around down to the last 15,000 years, we brought about a man because we knew it was going to come to a time where we had to be brought into the physical or the being person itself. So in the beginning of the first 25,000 years, or this beginning of the 25,000 that we're in now, the first 9,000 years, we actually ruled. We actually ruled as God, or the black man ruled as being God. However, during that time, we were actually giving it up. We were giving up the rule, but it was being done gradually. And by the time we got to the 9,000th year, we had produced one from amongst ourselves, or another black man. That was of the nature, we made him of the nature or of the mind, and made his soul in such a way that he was rebellious to us, to usher in a people that would be rebellious to the idea in numbers. Are you listening? In numbers. Really, it's the one man, but he multiplied himself over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Now, after the 9,000 year was completed, up until the 15,000 year of the 25,000 year history, we had amongst us, we had the Caucasian. This is the man that we allowed to rule us. This is the business of God now. Now, the purpose of this business is to bring about a people with the will to want to be right, so much so that they'll be willing to be perfect. Before I actually showed up, no one had the will to be perfect. They were satisfied with being extremely good. Are you listening? Because since there was negative, or is negative at the time, they had no knowledge of it being anything other than that. And to show you how powerful a statement negative made on their minds, we have in our lessons that the God searched for trillions of years for this other God or for this mystery God. Well, what would make him go and search for it in the first place if there was none? And by the way, he didn't find any. He only found himself. However, there is always something that was reacting to all of his actions. Are you listening? After we found out exactly how to get rid of this, and the angels agreed, we allowed this man 6 days to rule us, not the planet, us. If they could rule us, they could automatically rule the planet. However, 50,000 years before he was brought into existence, we started the process of going to sleep. You all remember about Shabazz? Going into the jungles? 50,000 years ago? That was done for the express purpose of putting us to sleep so this other man could rule. Now, this was decided 70,000 years ago. I'm saying all these numbers because I want you all to understand. I want you to really see when you leave this building and you go to your prospective homes or places and whatnot, back to your different states, and you see all this motion that's going on, and the trucks is on the road, and the planes is in there, and the hustle and the bustle, it's expressing one idea, one, multiplied thousands of times. And it do not serve us, although we use it. The more you use it, the more we are oppressed. The further you travel in your automobile, the more oil you're going to burn. And the more you have to stop and eat at these nasty restaurants. Get gastritis and everything else. The more you use this system, the more you are suppressing yourself. I hope you understand what's being said here. Now, this man, we allowed him to be God over everything, which is us. And everything that it constitutes of being God, after we get the restaurant, after we get the supermarket, after we get the oil refinery, who is it that we pay the electric bill to? Who is it that we pay the water bill to? And who is it do we pay to come pick up the garbage? Things that you don't even think about. He's thought about it. He's provided a system for you. And as long as you need that system, he's your God. Because if he pull the plug on you, what you going to do? Are you listening? But we own the earth. But you all won't come in clean. You won't come in clean. I'm still talking about business. I hope that you all are following me. I hope I'm not doing a botched up job on this. The business of wanting to be right. The business of making it perfect for the God that originated the heavens and the earth. This is what I'm in the business to do. Well, is that proven? Yes, it's in the Bible. It reads that Allah was telling David, the Jehovah, or the God that originated this, was telling David, you shall have a son named Solomon, and he shall build mine house. And it shall be more magnificent than any house that has ever been built. He shall be my son, and I shall be his father. All of that is future tense. Shall be. Until now it is. So you can't say, we didn't tell you, we allowed Satan to tell you, or the devil to tell you, with his idea on it. Now when I come to give you the full understanding of what's being said and what you're being told about from the Bible and the Quran, it's extremely difficult for you to accept this. We want to talk about what took place last week or last year. I'm starting from 70,000, bringing it on up till now, and into year 2000, and into 2023. I know y'all are going to study on this. We've gotten the remnants that was with the messenger to actually make this a success. Those of you all that are young, that were not with the messenger and didn't have the time or opportunity to be with him because of your age, you have me. You should actually come to the temples and learn while you have the opportunity. Learn how to think. And in your thinking, you will learn how to be God. But if you want to wait, you want to run up and down the streets and show how fast your car runs, now you're not making enough money to get cars, you're getting these roller skates. And how many tricks you can do with that and jump over the barrel and all that kind of stuff. This is, these are toys. This is not befitting of God or someone that's trying to be God. This is not befitting of that. You're going to have to come. I have made myself present. I'm not going to your individual home unless I'm invited, and that's seldom. I have to come and make a place for you to come. The time is short. I'll say it this way. It's written that it took me 7 years to build this house that I'm supposed to build so magnificent. 7 years. This, in essence, is letting you know how much time you have to get yourself together. 7 years. At the ending of the building of this magnificent home, I'm going to build it in such a way, once it's built and you look outside the windows, if it has windows, you don't see anything offensive. Are you listening? Now, if you're out there looking like a savage, that's offensive. I have to do this within 7 years because the die has been set. It's written in the Bible, go thy way, Daniel, until the end of the time. The die is set. Are you listening? So you have 7 years to actually learn what you should know to be a part of this. After that, don't come and ask me and say, well, look, can you give me some more time? The time is set. You can't change a die after it's already been tooled out. And God don't set a die and then change his mind. Are you all listening? I'm still dealing with business and the wonders of it. This is what the wonder really is. You are God. I see you walking up and down the street, riding in cars. Everywhere I look, I see God, the black man. But you refuse to be there. You'd rather stand up and work your power on me and against me than to work it in a way where all of us as a people will benefit. Now, Reverend Hartsfield had invited us in his building, and I think Reverend Lindsay that was with him. And from what I could see, both of them had substantial following. What is troubling to me, it's impossible, and I hope you all listen. It's impossible for me to show mercy forever. I can't do it. I want to go into the church and talk to the people. I'll just talk to him with his people there, acting as jurors to see if I'm lying. This is what I want. And if it's a reverend in the audience, if he was a reverend that was speaking and whatnot, I'd come to your church and speak with you and your parishioners. I know for a fact, as I'm listening to the radio calling, a lot of people don't know anything about me. Who is this guy? He just popped up. All of the reverends know about me. I gave a tape to everyone that, 70-some people, 70-some reverends? 70-some reverends that I gave here in this area. One called me up, one. He was so elated and everything, he promised to have me to his church, and he was going to, when it got time for us to actually come, he was out of town, so they said. I haven't heard from him since. You see? So what I'm saying is the people that is stopping those from hearing me are the ones that's supposed to know me. And once you get to know me, you'll find out that I'm not a God of vengeance on you. I'm on vengeance on the one that is of the nature of destruction. Your nature is not destruction. So why should I become angry and want to hurt you or do something to you? That's not my business. I'm not in that business. I'm about fixing it where the one that is nature is destructive, keep him off of you so you can build. I'm like a father to you. Most of you call me father. I don't let nobody hurt my children. But then I have most of my children don't know me. And the ones that do think they know me or want to know of me, they want to stand off from afar. In case I may ask them to do something, they don't want to do it, so they're not close enough to say no or yes. They're just standing off. I'm getting a little tired of that. I really am. If I had a scheme up my sleeve, a trick up my sleeve, well, then maybe I would tolerate certain things. But I don't. And it's ignorant for you all not to accept pure truth, pure honesty, and a perfect plan. Am I saying something offensive? Well, I really want to go into real business. And I keep saying this again, it's not a supermarket or a restaurant. The God said to me was written in the Bible, but I'll say what he said to me in these words. It's written in the Bible that he says, I'll give you rest on all sides. And the nation that you build will be peaceful forever. Forever. Not for a while or for a long time, but forever. This is because I'm in his universe doing something for him. He's so pleased with it and what I'm doing. And let me explain this also to you. The scientists that actually fly the little UFO planes and is on the mother plane, which really exists, and if the preachers would go into Ezekiel, they would see it. Every time they talked about the pillar and the pillar stood still, and when the four creatures moved, the pillar moved, they're talking about the mother plane. They came and told me, they said, well, we know that you are very eager. You got a lot of spirit in the way of wanting to see this actually take place. I said, this is true. They said, however, it's only a few minds we want. I'll say this again. They said, it's only a few minds we want. Now listen to the statement. They're not going to go get them. If they had to get them, they wouldn't get you at all. So they're telling me, since I'm so eager, well, you go do it. And out of all the people that come, I'm really looking only for a few minds. And when you get them, anything in excess to that you can have. Are you listening? We're talking about you, black man. We're talking about you. So if you think you got the time to sit up and ignore this, in a city that I'm saying that I came to you and said, we're making Kansas City the heartland, the heartbeat of the nation of civilized people. You're so far away from that type of harmony, you think it can't be done. So I'm not even going to spend no time even listening to that. But what you did here, you can't prove one word of it wrong. And you can't say it's out of time. I didn't say the lungs, I said the heartbeat. Now, Kansas City, Missouri is not directly in the center, it's close to it. Like your heart is not directly in the center of your body, but it's close to it. So if you would look into all these things and see it worthy of coming and accepting this so you can think to actually make it real. We need jobs or activity. We call it jobs now, but we need some activity where we can actually make our energy serve us in a multiplied way. I heard the sister say, this is in Kansas, she won't be able to see it. However, I'm doing this, duplicating this all over the country. We're just starting here first. What you all do, those of you that don't live in Kansas, when you get home, you got somebody back here that's a relative, call and tell them. Tell them to go to the stores. Tell them to start participating. Start it. And the faster you do this, the quicker we rise. You listening? The faster you do this, the quicker we rise. Now, the God is watching me. This son that said if I stick to the laws that Moses had gave, that he would not fail me. Now you might say, well, if you God, why is it another God has to protect you or save you? You know why? It's because I'm operating on such a low level that the God protects me from things that I don't have time to do at this time. I want you to think about this. In other words, here's a God, which is myself, that came from here in your mind, came from here down to here with you. It reads in the Bible that he put away his power to come to save you. Now, if I put it away, I still have to be protected. But the level of what I'm working on now, I have enough of my own I can protect and then protect you because we ain't doing nothing. Are you listening? Now, this God that is telling David and telling me, be of good courage, have no fear. I'm with you forever, always. Although you may not see me, I'm there. And I've seen it proven to me time and time again without fail. Are you listening? But he's asking me to build the house. And this house is not put together with no mortar, no nails, no hinges. Isn't that what the Bible reads? The house that Solomon built wasn't a house that had doors. The house that I'm building is the temple of your thinking. I'm bringing you back once again to be God again. That's the house that I'm building. I don't want to belittle what I just said about the supermarkets or all of the things that we're trying to get started here. That's a start. Now, what you're going to receive today, in my mind, is worth more than the restaurant and the supermarkets and the schools to me. Because when we finish this, answering questions, you go to eat, I want you to be in an atmosphere where you know that you're at home or you're with people that is from home, from the Son, or from God. My wife has done a tremendous, she put forth tremendous effort to make sure that the tables look right. She went and got the balloons and had the Star and Crescent put on it. Because she's with me and she knows what I like. And she knows what I like. If there's any civilized amongst me, you will like it. So when you leave from here and you go purchase the books and things that we have for you all to see, what the idea is to produce, the feeling that you get from that, the knowledge that you get from that is greater in my mind than the supermarkets that we're going to come up with. Do you understand what's being said? This is what I'm building. This is what I'm building. Well, why is that true? Why should I be proud about building an actual building when white folks build them up? You can go pass by a lot today in the morning and come back in the evening. They're eating in it. They done put the building up, lights is on, and sign up open. So if we go build something, we haven't done nothing. But nobody, no one, nowhere has built this. Matter of fact, every time they go to tackle it, they come back and say, hey, forget that. Matter of fact, the scientists, when they came and they saw this, when they came looking for the God, at least one of them to actually make the messenger. And they came over and they looked, they searched the earth. And they couldn't find the one that was lost. They couldn't find it. And when I found you and went back and told them, they said, no, it cannot be. It's impossible. The ones in North America? Oh no. Yes, it's them. Well, the only thing we can do with them is kill them all. We don't have enough. And the reason why they said that, because they saw that they know it's a mind thing. And the time it takes to turn your mind around, the man that's already in motion was going to destroy the planet. They said, we don't have enough time to turn this around. Kill them right along with the enemy. Are you listening? Now, I'm talking about people that has power to do this. Kill them all. I said, no. I'll get them. They said, well, if you get them, you make sure, well, I'm telling you now, all 12 of us are in agreement with this. Not one will come back amongst us without a thorough knowledge of themselves and of the enemy. Did you hear what I said? Not one will come back before amongst us, the civilized people, without them having a thorough knowledge. I said, all right, I'll take that task on because I saw it 70,000 years ago. Now, I'm here actually after I built my own home for the 13 years of dealing with the mindset of my own physical children. Now, I've stepped out from my home to actually deal with the home of God in your homes. Are you listening? I want you to get this tape and play it. It may sound like I'm rambling, but there's many things. Every time you hear something, if it don't sound like it gels with the thing that I just said, you still think on it. It's kind of hard for me to go on a monitor or plain subject just straight through because there's so many things that have to be said. I'm almost perplexed as to where to start. And to hold a subject, I usually don't talk in subjects. But since we are starting to build things out here, and I wanted you all to see that has actually taken out the saving accounts or put money with us, and some of you all have opened it up with $5. That's good. It lets me know you don't have any money, I think. But your heart is right. So I'll go to work to make sure you have some. And this is where your money is being focused at now, here in this area. Now, this is the beginning. After this weekend, I really intend to turn it on. I want this to be in such a way that all the people in Kansas will start to vibrate across the country to let everybody know what's happening with their city and in their city and who's doing it. Not so much Solomon is doing it. They can say that because I'm the top of it or the cap of it. But those that are with me, this is what we are doing. And I say that in this sense. When Allah talks about himself in the Quran, he says, I, Allah, am the best knower. After that, very seldom do he use the word I anymore. Is that right? Well, I'm doing the same thing. Yes, it is I that is actually perpetuating this, but it is the we that's doing the building. Is that clear? Well, I've gotten to the point now, I'm going to say this. Since we are declaring I'm declaring your independence. You don't know enough yet to declare it. You can just be in accord with me. Now, let me show you what this actually means. Because I'm declaring the black man here in North America's independence, which I heard on TV last night, that this brother Solomon was in town, and he's declaring independence for the black man in North America. This is on TV. Did you all see it? On the news. Now, I didn't call in to tell him to do that, but this came across the screen. So I said to myself, they're keeping up with me. Now, the one that put it on may not even know what it means. Well, somebody was watching that does know what it means. And I don't mean the ones that are with me. I mean our enemy. Now, by that statement being made, I didn't make it to them. I'm making it to you. But I know they're hearing it because the flyers has been all over the city. This means that I have to do things that I haven't been doing. Are you listening? I'm making this statement. So if you're with me, you're going to be independent. If you're not, and you try to stop me, you're going to be in trouble. Really. It's best that you don't do anything. Just stand on the side and don't do anything. But if you come up to try to stop it or think that this is folly or play, because I look very insignificant. The book reads that. I put away the power and I come looking very insignificant. So much so, I'm walking with the people. You didn't know it was me. I was in the darkness, but they perceived me not. I perceived the darkness, but they didn't perceive me. but those that are not in the dark perceives me. And to get to me, they deal with you. They'll lock you up. They'll do everything they possibly can once you make your mind up, if you're really with this, to change your thinking. Are you listening? Do we have any Christians in here other than the preacher? Or everybody here is Muslims? We have one Christian? 2? 3? 4? How many? This place holds quite a bit of people, right? What I'm sharing with you all should give you a backbone. I'm not talking about the Christians. I'm just talking about people, period. It should give you the fortification that you need to stand up. And it also extracts terror in our enemy. However, but the way that I have been taught to the people makes you very afraid of even the word independence. Independent from white people, what will I do? You know, Lincoln set us free. And we had to go back and tell him we didn't have a job, master. Will you take me back? You don't have that luxury today. There's no time for you to go back to do nothing. Matter of fact, I'm erasing it. When you look, it's going to be nothing. You're going to go forward or nothing. And I'm saying this again, those of you all that are Christian, the ones that you all that are here, listen carefully so when you go back to talk to the ones that are like you, let them know it is time to come out of that fear. Magnificent house. There are some that are with me that came under Elijah. They don't know what fear is. Every time I think of it, the warrior comes up in me. I want to go get hold of something. That's right. The weakest one that was with Elijah. After they start hearing me and they see this is real, they stand up. Fear leaves them. They'll come to the mic and tell me before everybody is sitting in the audience, I did so and so and so and so and so. I'm with you now, Father. They done told everything they did. Before, they don't tell nobody. They think the cops are listening. They won't tell it on the phone. But when they get with me, they was with the messenger, they hear this, they don't care who hears it. Because the messenger didn't teach fear. Now, this was just the message. What he taught made men. We moved out because he was a little man. Nothing happened to him. Nothing happened to him. Nothing happened to him. White folks didn't do nothing to him. When he went to Washington, D.C., they didn't jump up and down and talk about him like a dog. They sent out the policemen and whatnot and escorted him down Pennsylvania Avenue. They haven't done the ministers that way. They're not only going to escort me, they're going to fly me in. I'm telling you what I know. I'm going to speak to all of the nations from the White House. Are you listening to what I'm saying? All of the nations from the White House. Because all of them have committed fornication with that place. And if I'm going to be God, I want them to know I'm God. I'm going to where he lives. If you say it's the White House, well, then we're going to do right in the White House. You got the right man in the White House speaking about the right thing. Now, when I go, I would like to know that I'm leaving in prospective cities warriors. I don't want to go by myself. If I have to go, I'm going whether I'm with someone or not, because I'm going to be invited. I'm going to make them invite me. I'm God. But I'm not going to go there to do them wrong. I don't have to do that. I didn't come to do them wrong. They do enough of themselves, to their own self with that. But in order for the world to accept this, that this is actually God, and if it's spoken from the White House to the nations in a place that they know is decadent, that has came over in their countries and slaughtered them, and they had no power to do anything about it other than come up with a United Nations that has done nothing. Are you listening? So that's not about building a supermarket. I want you to see where this is going. Now, this has to be done now within 7 years. I'm not going before we have something that we are independent with, more than just the idea. I understand the minister got a couple of acres back to what the messenger had. We're going to multiply that in several different states to feed ourselves, to plant our own seeds, harvest it, take it to our own processing plants, process it, and deliver it to your home. Are you listening? The earth will produce what I command it to do. Now, since the man of sin has been working on the earth, working with it or against it, now the earth itself is rebelling against him. If I do nothing, the earth itself is going to cast him off. So why not make the best of the little time we have left to make it where we are independent, showing that we have died. You don't have to be angry with the man. If you got $10, send 5 with Solomon. And let me know you didn't have a 10. I'll bring about a wind to bring you a couple thousand. If you're right, maybe a few million to bring to me. We'll split it up. And you know, our enemy already knows this. He already knows that I will be in the White House. He already knows this. The idea of us having to go out and earn money to exist is a downfall for us. That's why I'm saying I will share the money with you if you share it with me until I actually eliminate it. He's about to do it now. We live close to Washington, D.C. I'm not too far from the White House. They haven't invited me yet. But I hear them talking all the time. There's always 24-hour news there. And a lot of black stations talking about what they're going to do and what we should do and what we have to do. But nobody actually starts to accept what I'm saying to actually get it done. And they talk about the minister as though he's just another group. We don't need money. We need each other. Now listen to what I'm saying, need. As long as you don't have each other, you need money. Because if I go to you with nothing but my own pure righteous self and say that I need thus and so, and you have it, you will share it with me. Now, I wouldn't ask you if I didn't need it. And if I'm a righteous person and I got youth about myself, I need it at that time. But however, I'm going to put something in motion that I'm not going to need that over and over again. Are you listening? But because we don't have each other, you need money. This way you can be indignant, nasty, disrespectful, and just show the money and get what you want. You don't have to be civilized. Just have some money. Well, I'm bringing an end to that. We have a brother, I seen him, I'm sure he's in the audience, but I spoke with a brother in Los Angeles, and the secretary spoke with him. He says, I have some gold. He said, what? I have some gold. Well, let us use it by all means. Matter of fact, he had put it with white people. He went and got it back and took a loss to give it to us. Not to get it where we don't have it. It's still his, but he's letting us use it. We brought it to the bank here. Listen. Now, gold don't have white people's face on it. We brought it to the bank and told the bank, here, we have X amount of thousands worth of gold. What policy do you have that we can actually turn this into working capital. It appeared as though gold, we never thought of that. They haven't. Because everybody is so fast in a hustle and a bustle for the buck. You're not going to burn gold, but you can burn that paper. And the white man now is starting to, I heard on the radio where he's advising his people 12 o'clock at night on one of them secret stations to buy gold and silver. Yeah, he's saying this, buy gold and silver. Start doing it now. Within 3 year time, they're trying to do away with money currency. But if I come and tell you, you don't believe it until he's sick. And then you don't believe it until the last dollar is gone. Then you want to know, well, they took my money. I know they got another system set up that it's going to work. He didn't say they set up another system for you. Are you listening? I'm about the business of building our thinking. You have got to think right. If you can't, you have got to know what right is and get a hold to it. Clutch on to it until it rubs off on you. Be like it was in the Bible. Who was it? This wrestled the angel, Jacob, wrestled the angel all night. He said, I'm not going to let you go until you bless me. Well, when I first read that, I said, hey, the angel must have been pretty weak. He couldn't beat him. And this is an angel. But as I grew in understanding, it wasn't that he couldn't beat him. It wasn't time for the angel to do certain things. So he says, all right. He wrestled with this demon for the demon to actually be changed. But the demon wouldn't change. Now, if we look at it, if I'm wrestling with somebody and I can't beat him, that's why I say, well, come to mind, I can't beat you, I'll leave. But the angel didn't leave. He wrestled all night. Not to kill the demon or to injure him, but to wrestle him to let him know I got power over you. Now, you might say, well, what do you mean? If he didn't have power over him, he couldn't have changed his name. Is that right? Didn't he change his name? We got to think about these things. He couldn't change the rock. But I can. And if you wait too late here in Kansas City, I'm giving you until a year and 9 months. White people is going to overtake you coming to me. Are you listening to what I'm saying? White people are going to overtake you coming to me. You know why? They are in just as much, matter of fact, more trouble than you are. It's like having a child that's obedient. You know, like I think it was Abraham. Had his son carry him up and laid his head across the block, and he looked up to his father. He said, am I to sacrifice the father? Yes, son. Stretched his neck on it. With that type of obedience, could you chop your son's head off? You could. He was willing to allow his father to sacrifice him. Here's white people that's got other white people that has never disobeyed them. And they got all these things. They're going out into space, but they can't go until I make it sunny. You think about it. If the wind is blowing too hard, they can't go. Now, if they had power over the wind, they would control the wind and leave. I want you to think. Now, all these things that they have acquired to pretend that they are intelligent now is becoming a burden to them. And when they see me doing things so effortlessly, who do you think they're coming to? They're going to come with the posture of submission. We know you to God. Is there anything that we can do? There's approximately 3 million of us. We're waiting. While you still home looking at Oprah Winfrey All these silly shows they put on showing how dumb the black man is, how many women he slept with. And, it's ridiculous. And then when you do come, I'm standing in a white church. Everybody's white except for bodyguards. Well, how come he's in that church? Everybody belongs to me. Are you listening? There is not nothing that don't belong to me. Satan has to serve me also. And the devil. I want you to understand this. I'm not just a man. I'm the man. That's more than a man. I want you now in this form, that's what you see. But this is not the perfect form. I'm more than that, and you will see it soon. However, white folks is going to come to get relief. In 1930, listen, when Allah in the person of Master Farad Muhammad came along and brought about a situation where they started jumping out of the windows, committing suicide, because they didn't know him to be the God. They didn't know that they could go to him and ask for mercy. Today, I am a black man that is God, that's standing up in his house saying it. He knows it. He knows the time because he wrote it. We gave it to him in scrolls, so there is nothing that I'm doing that is bearing witness against what I'm saying. So now, instead of him just jumping out the window, killing himself first, he'll come to me, well, is there a chance? You know, Sidney Poitier made a movie called Brother John. Did you all see it? At the end of the movie, the old man, the old devil that had some wisdom, them young with his son, was stupid as a frog. He didn't pay no attention to them. No, so all he wanted to get in office. That's where he thought power was. But his father, and those of you who have not seen it, go to the video stores if you can, or get with someone that's with us to duplicate the video, Brother John. Now, this is Sidney Poitier playing Brother John. He should go back and watch it himself. At the end of the showing, the old man, they were in this jail cell. The old man got in, which he wasn't supposed to. He got in, and he started questioning Sidney Poitier and asking him, isn't there something that we can do to be saved? I mean, doesn't love count for something? Sidney never answered. But by not answering him, he let the man know there's nothing you can do but die in sin. Are you listening? We have now arrived at this time. 7 years in no time. Matter of fact, we don't have 7. I've already been 2 years, doing this. Now, for the rest of the 5 years, the physical part is coming in. And if you all come and actually be with this and get into it, we're going to have a wonderful time. You don't have to worry about the destruction. You don't have to worry about it. Especially those that are with the messenger. You're not going to hear so much as, you're not going to have no misery from it. The ones that is with me, you may be affected slightly from it. And that may be because your mother didn't make it. Or your sister didn't make it and you got to watch it. That type of effect. Are you listening? Am I saying anything wrong? Well, I just want to know. Because I want you all to come up. I want this to really go into work, go into practice. I rode by and looked at the restaurant that the secretary was telling me about. I like it. I want to have a restaurant where we can actually go and sit and talk and bring about creative ideas. We need a place of our own where you go to, it's yours. You know it's yours. White people may be in it. We're not going to disbar anybody or keep them out. But just knowing it is yours is like you going home and you sit in your kitchen and you're speaking with your family. And they're there at the table with you willingly. And you're carrying on a conversation after a meal or during the meal about what you want to do or what did take place and how it worked out just the way you planned it, and you're happy about that. Then it makes you bring up more ideas to do with what you did with that. We need that type of place. Are you with me? Well, we are going to put another bid in for it. And I think we'll be successful unless I come up with a better place. But we're going to have one. I will not be denied. Is that understood? I won't speak much longer on this. I'm about the business of your thinking. I'm saying be, and you have got to be. You got to be the is. They spoke to my mother, or I spoke to her. My mother's name is Isabel, or was. Isabel. And we spoke to her, much like they did Mary, that brought forth Jesus. And we said, we will let you be the bell, but in your wombs you are carrying the ears. Listen. And in the churches, it used to be, they always had Isabel up there, ringing the bell. Bing, bing. They had the bell. But I can't get into none of the churches. The ears got to come to a school. The only thing that's real is Allah. Everything else you see is an illusion. It is a manifestation of an idea, and the idea is always unseen. Is that clear? So because I am the is, the fullness of the idea of perfection, I am that is. I'm the only reality that is. But when they ring the bell for those ones to come to the church to hear about the is, when the ears show up, they say, I can't come in. It's blasphemy that I would even think that I'm God. And the Muslims that came under, that did not pass the test, that came with the messenger, and then went with Wallace, and now they are Sunni, or they study the Quran and the Sunnah, and they deal with Allah. You know, it's pitiful. They think Allah is no more than a dog. If Allah isn't knowledge, wisdom, and power and force, what is he? He's not something that he's going to pray 5 times a day and get nothing done. And when you go to talk to one of them in the way of knowledge, they don't hear nothing about that. But then they are in love with Allah. You all are sick. And I'm going to let you know that. Matter of fact, I've already started. I'm going to intensify it. I keep saying what I'm going to do. I'm saying this because I'm letting you know. I'm really doing it already. It's going to get worse and worse. So it's not just the Christians. I want these preachers to start teaching you. If you don't know, come to the classes yourself. You don't have to send your parishioners. Come to the classes yourself and learn it and go back and tell them. That's all you got to do. If you invite me, once you do it, and they say, well, where are you getting this from? Well, I'm getting it from someone that's close to God. Well, I'm getting it from God. Don't tell them you wouldn't sleep and dreamt it. Tell them you're getting it from God. Well, do you want to see him? Yes, sir. Well, I'll see if he'll come to the church. You're not lying to him. I'll come and speak with them. I love the Christians. They're some lovable people. However, it's been my experience, I can't trust them. Every time they tell me they're going to do something and I get my hope up, at the last minute they'll come up with an excuse not to do it. Or I can't find them. That's frustrating. You're supposed to be with God. Your word is supposed to be bond. It don't hurt at all if you pick the phone up and call me collect if you can't pay for it. Call me collect and say, listen, do it in time. Don't wait till the last minute to do it. Do it in time to give me enough time to reroute what I'm about to do. Call me up and say, listen, I can't keep my obligation. Something has come up, I can't keep it. Would you accept my apology? This time, yes, sir. The next time, let me know before what the problem is, and I may solve it for you so you can keep your word. This is the way I think and do. And a man is what he thinks. Is that right? Is that right? I am what I think. Some say, well, you are what you eat. But you got to think of what you want to eat. Right? I'm a little hurt because of the Christians. Not the Muslims that came with the message and went with Wallace. That's a lost cause. But the Christians, I'm a little hurt because of you all, because you are lovable. And you won't let me get in on your love. And you won't let me show you what real love is. You won't let me. I can't do it the way you say it is. I just can't do that. I would be a liar to you. And when you find out what it really is, then you point your finger at me, be mad with me. Are you listening? Well, I'm talking to these empty seats because the Christians didn't come. 3 or 4 came, but 3 is enough. Yes, sir. We're going to some questions. What time do we have? Anyone has the time? 5 o'clock? All right. I want everybody to have enough time to purchase what you need to purchase and see the things that we're doing and have a wonderful meal. Now, everything that we're doing here today is a fundraiser. If you don't have the money, then let one of us know, the secretary or one of the secretaries, and we'll see what can be done as far as the food is concerned. We don't want to, now the books and things are things that can last, because we leave here after this particular weekend. Most of the things we're leaving in the form of information. Is that clear? So you'll be able to come to the temple and actually purchase it or get it. Because you really need to read this. You really need to read it, because if you don't, I'm not slowing up for you. I'm not driving a bus or driving a plane. It's more like I really am on a plane. I can't stop. If I slow up to catch, I'm going to crash. You have to be at the designated places where I have already planned to land. Board, which is the temple, get on board with us, and we take back off. But if you think you're going to just be any place and I'm going to slow down and you can jump on, I can't do that. Is that clear? Well, do we have any questions? I'm going to go into some more. Yes, sir, you can go to the mic. You all can start to go to the mic. I want to take about 5, 6, 7, maybe about an hour. We have until 9 o'clock. The secretary just told me to go ahead. He'll back me up. Tomorrow, I want to go into the purpose of vision. You may say, well, I didn't go too much about the business part, but I want you all to go home and listen to the tape. What I said usually goes over your head until you listen at it again. And then again. And then again. Then you say, oh, that brother really got into it. Are you listening? I'm in the business. It's a wonderful thing to change your thinking into perfect thinking. Because you won't owe me anything, but just by you thinking right, you will have to do right. And this means that I will see you doing the right. And this makes me extremely happy. And when I'm happy, I make other things happen to make this mushroom or make myself magnify. Is that clear? Well, do we have any questions? And like I say, get the tape and go over this. Go over this. Let Brother Abraham go first. I wouldn't want you standing on that late too long. Wa alaikum salam.
The question I would like to pose to you is, you know my situation when my 2 daughters who came, one didn't come. However, last month, the 24th, I was blessed to have another daughter. And that's the same daughter that was the body that was supposed to come the first time. However, the body wasn't quite ready for the child to enter to the end.
Are you asking me, is that the same daughter?
Yes, sir.
That she's returning?
The entity.
You said it was last month?
Yes, sir.
What did you
24.
name her? What did you name her?
Amora, Aquila, Muhammad. Amora, Aquila, Muhammad.
No, sir. But she's very much like the one that didn't want to stay. You're going to see the other one. The other one will be back. But that's not the one.
Yes, sir.
All right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Father, I'm one of these Christian ministers. I'm Reverend Tommy T., and we do love you and support you here in Kansas City. It's going to be more Christians be here on Sunday because we go to church on Sunday and we'll be here. But the question is this here. As a Christian minister, your people have already shown me some love and support by going with me to Olathe, Kansas, Johnson County, to help get a brother out of the jail over there that's locked down for kidnapping. I want to thank you for that. But the next question is, since you're my father and I might stay a Christian, but I still love you, how can you support me and what we're doing in the community?
Support you, what you're doing in the community?
Yes. And some of the things that we're doing in the community, we're teaching our young people, we believe we got a sacred obligation to raise our children. We're teaching them how to run business, cut grass, sell call papers, and we're teaching them a legal hustle, how to make their own money where they ain't robbing somebody. I told the mother of the nation, I said, I think it's what's wrong with some of these bourgeois middle-class preachers that always around you, you know, at other times, but when the fire come, I think they're house niggas. I represent some field niggas that's going to love you anyway, but we're going to stay Christians. Now, can we still support you?
Well, this is what I do as far as helping the black people, period. Whether it be a minister, a preacher, if they are about doing something that's for our people in the way of being positive, if we have something that we can aid them with and they're doing it properly, if they don't know how to do it properly, we don't stop you, but if you're willing to learn how to do it properly, what we do is help you in the financial, we help you as far as personnel. In other words, we make sure that you be successful. It's not that we do one thing. Whatever is needed. If you got a flat tire, we got another tire, we give you that tire. As long as what you're doing is for the right reason, we're looking for the right results, and if you don't know how to achieve it, you still accept some advice from us. Not where we do it in the public, but we can get together behind closed doors and say, well, listen, what you're doing is very good. But however, this is where we have to fortify or bring up, because this is where the devil will come in and make things go wrong. And if you listen to that and can see it the same way that God did with me, when I came into his house, he said, how did you get in here? Then he started questioning me, and I started showing him certain things, and he said, oh. So if you or anyone else that has a business, we got a brother that we dealt with in Los Angeles that makes bean pies. Matter of fact, he's a pastry. And from what I've been told, I haven't tasted yet. You all tried today. Matter of fact, I was told in such a way that I ordered, I think, a couple hundred pies and some cakes and whatnot, and had them flew in just for you all to taste what a brother can do. And if you agree on it and you accept it, we're going to make this brother, if he will accept it, our official pastry maker around the nation. So it is with you. If you are a Christian minister and you have contacts with other Christian ministers and whatnot, and you need to be supported in a way where you're getting across to them and you don't have the necessary means, we'll help you.
Well, Father Solomon, you got me. It says in Proverbs, a wise man loves correction. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Brother, brother minister, you see either one of the secretaries or the minister here, Minister Rashid, or any of the officials. Whenever you need something, matter of fact, you should stay in contact with them to find out what we're doing, to see if it's in accord with what you're doing, and you help us, we help you. Because really we are one. We're in the same struggle. It's just that I am the one to make sure that you be successful if what you're doing is right. So stay in contact with each other. Yes, sir. Oh, are you the same one that has access to apartments? Yes, sir. You hear that? Money and good homes. He got 300 some units that he was willing to allow us to occupy because we're going to do right. Now, I'm quite sure by us occupying it, he will be one happy minister. Because this is not going to be, we're people that when we move in, we're taking the idea in with us for redemption, for renewal. So if a window is falling out, we don't just call him and say, look, you got to come fix the window. If it's something simple, we can do it, we do it with his permission. So the place looks better and better and better and better. And after a while, he'll say, well, listen, the rent that you're paying me, I'm building another building. Do you have any more people? Yes, we have more too. The nation don't have to own the apartment building. We just have to own the one that owns it in his thinking. You see? And we can be happy. You with me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, Allah. Nice to see you again. I have a question. My question is on the idea of building. Can I take this out? Yeah, questions on the idea of building. When you made a statement saying that we need to use each other, we won't need money, can you expound on that?
Oh, yes, sir. It's a fact now we need money because we don't have each other. We're just now starting to have each other. This is why the minister came up with a reverend. What is the proper title? Minister or reverend? Reverend Thomas. Excuse me. It's just now starting where we're starting to actually bond with each other in our thinking, in our love. This man has an apartment building, 300 some units. Naturally, he has an expense to keep that up. So we have to have a certain amount of money to actually give him so he can keep it up. But however, if we keep resounding doing this over and over and over, we will work ourselves right out of money. Are you listening? Right out of the use of money, right into our word. You see what I'm saying? Someone owns the land that the building is sitting on. Now, if you own the land, and if I'm working with this man that's got it, that you got to pay taxes with, where you won't have to pay taxes, what you going to need money for?
Yes, sir.
Unless you're going to pay. Now, we get our own electric company, our own generators, and provide our own electric. And if we're going to use gas, provide our own gas, where's the money part come in? You see, in other words, we start to eliminate that step by step. Step by step. But doing that, we start to have each other. This is why it reads, brother sharpens brother. Not money sharpens brother. Brother sharpens brother. I was with a man, he told me, and it looks like the secretary is starting to develop this type of love for me. This man told me in front of his wife. He said, this man here, I'll cut off my right arm for him. I'll divorce you for this man. He told her this in front of her face. You know why? I never talked to him about he's great or he's this or he's that. I always disciplined myself. Whatever I was doing in his presence or for him or with him, I did it right and exact. And I didn't never lie to him. It tripped him out. And to this very day, he tells me there's not a day go by I don't think about you. That's when you have people. That's what is meant by that. We have to work our way into that.
Yes, sir. And my second question is, and working our way into that is because I have a background in sales, multi-level marketing, different things. What is God knowledge of multi-level marketing? Is that something that we can use to move all our products, or is that something we just need to disregard it totally? Multi-level marketing.
I didn't understand what you said.
Okay.
Hold the mic too close. Hold it off a little bit.
Yes, sir. Is that fine?
Yes, sir. Try it now.
Yes, sir. Okay, is that fine?
Hold it down a little bit. Now do it.
All right. The question is dealing with multi-level marketing. I mean, having a background in sales and multi-level marketing, and I know that some of the products that we do have, soap and different other things. Can you give the God knowledge of what how we can use multi-level marketing, or is that something we just have to disregard totally?
Oh, no, sir. We're not going to disregard it in the beginning. But what I am a teacher of is the marketing of ideas. You know, like I said before, I send the secretary places that he just having meal money in his pocket. But because the man is the idea, he has no problem getting it across. He's not selling it. The natural language or the normal language that they use is not natural. Is that they selling the idea. But when you are something, you're not selling it. The people can see that this is real. Then you determine what part of this you want to participate in. However, everything is going to be done gradually. We're not going to snatch nothing away. We have telemarketing, and I understand that you were pretty skillful in selling things.
Yes, sir.
So you'll be a great help to us in whatever we have to do in that field. However, it's going to go out from selling things into promoting ideas. Because the people that you come across and sell, you see a lot of different people in selling things. You're going to run up on one or two people here and there that you're going to see the God in them or the spiritual part. And they're going to start showing you things that make what you looking like, what you're doing, child's play. And this is going to elevate you. Everything is done step by step, brother. So yes, sir, we're going to have that because that's what people are accustomed to. However, the end results of it is not going to be where it is now. You know, we're not going to send you out and you make a living based on how much you sell. When we send you from us or send you to the people that we want to have the idea or the product, you already know what you're going to make before you leave. It's not, well, if you go out and make a deal for $2 million, then that's what you get paid percentage on that. No. If you go out and you don't make a deal, period, you're still going to get paid. If you make a $2 million deal, you still get paid what you need. You see?
I understand exactly.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And thank you. Love you truly. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, sir. Walaikum salam. I was just told by Brother Secretary, which I have him going all over the country, soon the world. He's meeting many people again. He just let me know it's a master salesman that's in here. And if he's a master, this means he has mastered all the ins and outs of the art of selling. So we would want him to be somewhat of a teacher to those ones that are young that's coming in with us. If he would do that. I think his name is Mr. Glad. Mr. Glad. Before I leave, I would like to, not today, but I would like to speak with him before I go out of town, if he's all right with him. I want to see if he can sell it. Brother?
Good evening, Brother Solomon.
Read.
And thank you for being here, for bringing me knowledge, which you always do when you do come here. And I'm the black scientist that is here in the Kansas City area, in which I'm known as a warrior. I don't back off of anything. And I'm fighting AIDS virus, which I don't have, in which I know how to get rid of the AIDS virus or any other kind of disease that has been knowledge that I have been given to. Not only that I find the antidote, but I found the book and where all the so-called AIDS virus came from. And I'm just letting you know that I'm here as a warrior to help you to forward your whatever that needs to be done.
Well, you say you have a cure for it? For the AIDS? You have a cure for the AIDS?
Yes, sir. I have the whole cure. And matter of fact, I brought the book with me. And finding the book, I found the book in the year 1977. And not only that, but it comes out of Washington, D.C.
Yes,
as a matter of fact, I'm hoping to find a house for the AIDS people in the Kansas City area. And also, I'm planning out to put a record out as well sometime in this month, in July rather. And because the AIDS virus was so false, and I even took it down to one of the Senator McCarthy's office. And so when I took it down there, and I told him, I said, well, I don't have all the degrees that other people have, but God gave me so much knowledge that so I was looking for it and I found it, and he said, well, George Washington Carver didn't have it either. he said, but he was very knowledgeable.
Well, this is what we'll do. We need to know how to heal ourselves. And there are those of you all that we actually did give the knowledge of these things. It's written in the Bible that there's nothing new under the sun except me. Everything else, AIDS and everything, we got some things worse than AIDS. That flesh-eating thing is worse than AIDS because it take you away quick. Now, if you have the cure for it, you need, the secretary is a person that, whatever you got to offer to the nation, you've got to go to the secretary first. You can let me know that you have it. But to get into the specifics of it, to see if it's really, that you really have something, go and let the secretary know. You are God. The black man is God. So nothing that you come up and tell me surprises me. Now, the next thing we have to do is figure out how we're going to employ your knowledge that will benefit our people. If you have a cure for it and you know it to be a cure, then naturally we want to employ that for our people, especially the ones that accept this.
Well, not only did I have the cure for the AIDS virus, in the months since I've seen you, I have found antidotes for other sources of the person's body system. Also, I have designed a blanket that doesn't require any electricity to keep your body warm. And not only that, but it would depressurize your body system as well.
Well, we need to, yes, sir, brother. We definitely need you with us so that we can start to employ or back you with what you need to produce it, unless you're rich.
Only rich in spirit.
All right, well, we'll see. Will you all, this is part of what I'm talking about as far as building. You know, everyone has a talent if they care to develop it. If this brother has developed a talent that is very useful for us and is very timely, then what we have, like the sister said, and she's gave thousands with us to make sure that this be successful, even today's event. This is what we do with the money. We back people such as you, if it's genuine, so that we actually can be independent. We don't have to send our people to the hospital. You know, if you really look at that, to the pitiful house for them to work on you. We come to our people that know the earth. They don't have to be in love with you, but they're in love with nature. They're in love with thinking. They're in love with what thinking produces, and they put it on you and then watch how it works. And all of it is right. So it's not a mad scientist, it's a God scientist. So you need to get in touch with the secretary, brother, so we'll know at what time, because they have to tell me how much money we got. Of course, I keep asking.
Well, for one thing, the people with the Lou Gehrig disease, and they have contacted me, and they want to know how to stop Lou Gehrig disease.
Well, don't give it to them, brother. Don't give them nothing. Before I allow you to do that, I'll make it not work. Okay. They've had, it's not, the reason why we have all these diseases is because of this man's activity. It's not that he didn't know. He wrote it in the Bible what he should eat and what he shouldn't eat, how he should think and how he shouldn't think. He's a stony-hearted man. He wrestled with the angel all night long, so he wouldn't change. And he's implementing on our people, the poor people, to make sure he kills us. He's not getting I don't care who contacts you for whatever you got. It's not for you or for your kind. It is for them to stay healthy, to see you go down in the abyss of hell. And they watching it. Give them nothing. You stay with us.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And don't let money be the motivation for none of you all. I don't care what you have, how good it is. You go do whatever you want. And in a little while, you'll be able to leave the planet and go to other planets because you be worthy of that. I don't care how much they give you. They can only take you out into space and probably throw you out. Let you suffocate. They can't go no place, brother. They're at the end of their time, and we're not going to hold them up in nothing that they do unless they are with us. And it's almost impossible for them to do that. So you stick with us, brother, and you have what you need. After a while, because you came with what Allah blessed you with and offered it, meaning that you are seeking the kingdom of God and all of His righteousness, and then all that you could ever imagine, as the scientists told me. They said you're going to have a child. She's going to be your daughter, But at the same time, she's your wife. And when she's first born, you are to stay home with her 3 weeks, 21 days. Don't let no negatives in. And at the end of the 3 weeks, the messenger himself will come to you personally and instruct you. Not teach me, instruct you. And you will have everything that you ever thought that you wanted. Did you hear what I said? Well,
Yes,
what
sir.
I want is for people like you to have a free hand to go to it. I don't need many new suits, many new cars, many homes. I don't need that. But I do need the black man to wake up. So it's the same thing with you. If you do all this, all other things will be added to you. All right?
Excuse me, Father.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, Father.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to request that we keep our questions short and no more than 2 questions to allow everyone else that might have a question to fill it in during the time span left to us. With your permission, sir.
Yes, sir. All right.
Assalamu
Walaikum
alaikum.
salam.
It's a joy to see you here in Kansas City doing the work that you're doing. And the subject you came with I was very elated to hear you, the wonders of business. And my question is, I'm in the insurance mutual fund debt consolidation business. And it's based on the theory of decreasing responsibilities. And that means when someone's young or when the brother and sister is young, they can work more, put away a nest egg, so in their later years they can have something when they're unhireable and can't work. And I was wondering, how would this work into the nation? It seems to be a good idea, but I would like to have the absolutes on it. When a brother passes the income protection part, that the sister can have something if the brother passes, if the brother's with a sister and she passes, that he can have something to go ahead and raise the siblings.
Well, this is what we do. I understand the question, but this is what we do, and we're going to increase. First place, we don't participate in the planning of death. I don't deal with that. I deal with life, and if you accept it, you won't die. However, it's still what we say we're living in reality, and many of us that are ill, and we're not thinking quick enough to accept the formulas of life, and they're your loved ones, what should be done with that. Instead of naming it or titling it insurance for in case you die or for the hospital or whatnot, if you want to give, let us, like I say, go back to the secretary again. Let us go back to our own nation or come to our nation. And if you want to put up some money for that type of occasion, do that with us. And then when you die, what we do, we don't bury nobody. If you're with me, we put the fire to you and you evaporate. We don't want no remembrance of you going by and we see a tomb sticking up. Forget that. That's an idea of death. We don't want nothing around that shows death. We want life. Even when the flower dies, we get rid of it. I'm the God of life, not of death. So if you want to prepare for that, prepare for life. If you want your child, say you want to put up certain money for it to go to school, or we opening up schools. And we're not going to open up schools where you have to pay a tuition to get your child in it forever. So those that are with us, the money that you give, the charity that you give, the banking that you put in and whatnot with us, we're setting this up. So it will be carried on whether you give to that or not. That's how it's going to be done. Right now it may look like, well, this is just an idea. It's not that many people. It's not. However, this is catching on and it can't fail because it's time for it. And when you give it to them, they use it to make sure you die. As a matter of fact, you give it to them getting ready to die. So don't even speak of that. You know, even those that are sick and that's already into it, well, then do what you got to do. But if you're going to make plans for tomorrow, if you're going to make it today, plan life, not death. Now, this is your job selling. I'm not saying for you to quit doing your job. However, we want to get to a point where you come with us. And if that type of sales should be carried on, it'll be in the way that I just described it. You can show the intelligence of that part. And if they want to put away something, and it's the same thing. Technically, it's almost what they're doing now with the banking form. You put the money with us, And we haven't set up since we haven't got the credit union established as of yet. And after a certain amount of time, you get your money back. You get it back in proportions, you get it back. We have used it, and it should start multiplying itself, and we can start giving it back. At the same time, we hope more are putting in. So this way, it ensures that nobody has to take care of themselves solely. We're family. All right?
Thank you very much, Father.
Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Are you all understanding the answers that I'm giving to this? Yes, ma'am.
Assalamu alaikum, Father.
Walaikum salam.
My question, and I have a problem too. My question is about dual realities, and when there's no more bad and there's no more negative. Does that mean that opposites will also be no more? As in, there's up but there's no down, there's right but no left.
No, ma'am. You have an up and a down, but up and down is not negative. Other words, you mean, will there be opposites? There will always be opposites except for righteousness. That's the only thing that I'm getting rid of. There will be no opposite to that. There will be no obstacle for you to go forward. You can go in a circle if you like, but you don't have to go backwards. You see, there won't be no negative attached to anything that we do. That's what I'm getting rid of. Yes, there will be a up, there will be a down, as long as there is matter. Now, when you refer to this matter as far as the earth or this ball that we have here, then there's no up and down, it's out. I don't care where you stand at on the earth, there's no such thing as I'm going up in space. You're going out in it. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But us as a person in this particular thing where we can relate to it, here's a big well here. Yes, that's down and I'm up. But that's not negative.
Yes, sir.
Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
My problem.
In other words, I want to say that there's not going to be nothing in our mind that will cause us to do something that goes against what is right. That's the only thing I'm removing. All right.
The problem that I have, I don't want to talk about it, but I would like to ask you to help me understand why I'm going through what it is.
The what?
My problem, what it is.
Your problems and what it is?
Mm-hmm. I just want to understand what it is, why I'm going through it.
I don't know what your problem is.
Okay. Then I'll talk to you about it.
Yes, ma'am. Brother?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Father, first of all, I wanted to say that I love you so much. And I never thought I could draw so much strength from an individual. And deep in my heart, I want to say that I know you are Allah. I know you are God. If it's possible, I would like to do the meaning of my name and what tribe I'm in. My first name is Alexander Joseph.
I haven't been doing names now for a while because it takes a little while for me to go back into the history books or into the reference books with the names to actually give it answer the question concerning that. But you're from the 12th tribe. And I'm saying this because it's very easy to read from here. Those of you all that like to know the meaning of your name and your tribe, I would more or less rather do that at a time where mostly if we go to a church or we go someplace or you see me personally. Yes, however, most of the ones that are here have already asked me that, and they know it takes up a little time, and I don't want to break my stride.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
The names that you told me are not bad names. If I'm here during the course of maybe I'll have a tea or something and see how the restaurant looks or the eating facilities look. If we have time, I may give it to you then. All right. Yes, however, I'm glad what you said. It makes me happy what you said. It reminds me of the nature of the lion. You know, a lot of times they wouldn't let black people come to the circus that had lions because the very appearance of the lion, or if he roars, it brings up a spirit in you that you know you are something more than what you've been told. So they keep you away from it. So when I speak and you hear the lion in the voice, the authority, and it does something for you, I'm like the lion, but I can really hurt you. Not you per se, but I'm saying the lion has a lot of strength, but he is not the king. I am Solomon the king, and King Solomon. The elephant is the king, and the lion is the pretender. All right?
Thank you, Father.
Yes, sir.
Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, Father.
Wa alaikum salam.
Again, I'm very nervous, so I ask that you bear with me. I heard you state on Ezekiel tape that you allowed quite a few half originals to be born so that they could keep the Caucasians in check in New Jersey. And I also, not from you per se, however, a brother expressed to me that he heard you say on the tape that you could change a person's very essence while they're living. I'm half original, and I love.
Will I do that?
Well,
you saying you half original? The question is, I'm trying to speed it up a bit. The question is, will I accept you or change you?
Yes, sir.
I'll say this. I don't do anything on a personal basis. I do things according to your duty or how diligently you are performing your duty to me or to the idea, not me in the flesh. And to let us know being a half original isn't so bad. Remember, Master Farad Muhammad was a half original. Musa was a half original. Columbus was a half original. Now, Master Farad Muhammad is the greatest man we knew. He was a half original. Now, if I'm going to change him, and not so much change him, but the body that I have constructed for the original Allah to return in is half original. He should be here around 1997. The one that actually owned this, that brought this into being from scratch. But his body is already here. He's half original. Now, I'm going, and the reason why this took place and we allowed this to happen, just to make sure that all of the angels know, and all of you all know, if I can change him and make him perfect, back to original, or change his nature, or take the flaw out of him, then I have the right to do it for everyone else that wants it. And if you're living beyond 1997, there's a good possibility that I'll change you. However, what will determine whether I will do it or not is how you keep your duty to the idea. It's not, otherwise you can't come and tell me, Father, I love you, I love you, I love you, and that moves me. It don't. But what I see you do and how you appear, that moves me. How I see you walk, how I see you treat your brother, how I see you treat your father, your mother, your wife, or your children. When I see you treat them right, and you're doing it because you love to do it and you know it's right, then whatever you ask, you don't even have to come to me and ask me, Father, will you change me? When I see it, I put it in my mind, this brother is going to be with me. You understand? This is how I do things. It will take a lot of time for me to go to each and every individual to do something personally for you. However, I can see what you do from the unseen. And I work from that aspect. So whatever's in your heart you want to do and you carry that to the max and you want to do more and you're not capable of doing it, then it's left up to me to change it where you can. There's no harm in being half original at this time. The harm comes in if we succumb to the suggestions that we have that are not right. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
And if you need any help in keeping yourself disciplined, this is why we have the classes set up. You're already with us, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Your mother's living?
Yes, sir.
She's the one that's half original? Or she's Caucasian?
Yes, sir.
And your father was an original man?
He is original, yes, sir.
Are they together?
No, sir.
What do your mother think about you and what we're doing?
Honestly, she thinks you're crazy.
She thinks I am or you are?
You are. She was at Savior's. I invited her and her boyfriend to Savior's Day in Baltimore. And she stayed for about an hour and left. And she says she thinks that you're crazy.
Are you living with her?
Yes, sir.
Well, that speaks very good for you, brother. If you can be with your mother and still stick to this, and she thinks I'm crazy, that speaks good for you.
Yes, sir.
All right?
I love you, Father.
Love you too. Yes, sir?
Assalamu alaikum, Father.
Walaikum salam.
I understand you said that you were going to send an earthquake through the Nation of Islam. Could you elaborate on that?
Earthquake through where?
The Nation of Islam. A shake-up. Nation of Islam.
Oh, the Nation of Islam.
Yes, sir.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
Yes,
Not that I'm going to send it. It's already there.
yes, sir.
The earthquake already took place, and the after effects, aftershocks is killing them. The earthquake was such a shock, it didn't hurt them. It didn't kill them. They was in shock. Now the shock wore off, and every time they get ready to get settled, something after term comes. They are messed up. They are messed up. I'm not going to wrestle all night with them because they're no opponent. They're wrestling with their own self. And they're coming to understand now that they have nothing. I'm God and I'm not going to be denied. And I don't have to go and beg them for anything, and I don't have to go put nothing on them. I'll just take what they're using and make it not work. And the number one thing that they have, what they think is the dear holy apostle, the minister, is he's not working. I don't care how much they try to make him say he's this and he's that and he's the other. I'm making it very plain and evident he's not. You're not going to I'm not going to be cheated out of my inheritance or my birthright. He's my spiritual sister, but he's a sister. He's to assist in this idea. Now, the things that he's doing and the people that he has backing him up, if you look at it, they have nothing. But the little that they do have will still work in our favor. When I get to the seat and everything, you all want to come and see me, we're eating a $5 million restaurant. I didn't put it there, but since it's there, hey, let's use it. You know, we got 2 or 3 acres. He got 2 or 3 acres of land. Well, I won't make mockery of it, but he's got 1,600 acres, according to him, of land back. I don't know if it's in the nation's name, but I don't care whose name it is, we're going to use it. And you know one thing? The land, to show you how this devil did this. The land that they got back, part of it, the initial purchase of the land that's in Georgia, the devil sold the land to the Nation of Islam when the messenger was with us. It's a den of rattlesnakes. Really, it's in a den of rattlesnakes. And I was reading a part of the final call, and they was giving some kind of thanks about they got the first crop right. They had some squash and some other things, and they was talking about how wise the brother is that's farming the place and whatnot, and they seen 2 rattlesnakes meeting. They don't know that the place is a den of rattlesnakes. Now, everything works for me. It reads in the Bible that I said, go sting them in the forehead. Don't kill them. But when you sting them, they'll feel as though a scorpion has stung them. They'll hurt everywhere at once, all over, for 5 months. Well, I won't go no more into that. But everything they got, we're going to use. All the homes that he got, he was one man. Hey, there's some brothers out here like this brother's got the cure for AIDS and other things. That type of mind should be in a pleasant place where he can sit back and see the stars at night and see the wonders of heaven and figure out how we're going to get there because it looks so good to him. He'll come up with a way. Instead of sitting in a ghetto, looking across the street, the windows is all falling out, grass has grew up, weeds is taking the house, car making all a bunch of noise. How the brother can't think? You see? So don't worry about it. Everything that he's got. To him, it's a burden, but to us, it's life.
Also,
that's the earthquake.
Yes, sir. Also, Father, would you also go into detail the things that you are doing with the Orthodox, the world of Orthodox Islam on tape so that I can give it to all of the Orthodox Muslims I have problems with?
Well, that you have problems with. Well, don't try to convert them, brother, because one thing, once they adopt the Quran is so truthful that it is hard not to do what it is suggesting to be done, unless you have an understanding of it. What they have done, they have literally read it like the ones we gave it to in their mindset, so it has become ritual to them. Although the rituals to them is actually the truth, which the Quran is true. But it don't take you into the new that enables us to come up from being a nothing people to a God people. It don't do that. And in order for the Quran to actually be effective with any people, the government has to adopt this and actually run the government from the basis of the Quran for the people to actually benefit from it. You cannot be in a wicked country such as this and read the Quran and think that it's going to benefit you. It is not. You got to have land for that Quran to actually have any type of potency with you. Now, the brothers that have accepted that and don't want to accept what we're doing and have no power to see tomorrow for looking backwards 1,400 years ago, there's nothing you're going to do with them. Don't even waste your time. But I will put it on the tape of this. The ones that came under the messenger. And the messenger told us, if you want to talk to Allah, read the Quran. However, if you are my follower, you seek the way through me. Now, they should have stuck to that. And because they didn't, and they're keeping their activities in such a way that they're stopping others from accepting Islam just from their own behavior. You know, you see, it may be a Christian or maybe just a person, period. Just for them seeing them, how they conduct themselves. And they big liars also. Big liars. And they lie to you in such a way, you nothing know how. They know you. They know you. Otherwise, they know that you know they lie. And they do it like they got the right to lie to you. That's arrogance. Then if you say something, I don't owe you nothing, I read the Sunnah, I go take me a prayer. That's foolishness. But if they came under the messenger doing that, I got something in store for them because their leader is getting it first. It reads in the Quran that says, touch me not. When the God was talking to Moses, Moses asked Aaron, why do you let the people go astray? I feared lest they kill me. Then he asked Samiri, Wallace, and what is your story? He said, well, I did what my soul suggested for me to do. So the God says, oh, you weren't afraid. You did what your soul suggested for you to do. So on this side, you will have a painful chastisement. It'll be, touch me not. Nobody is touching you. And on the other side, we have a grievous and a painful chastisement for you. There's two sides. Now, what does that mean? When the messenger returns, before we actually go into the hereafter, we got something in store for them on this side before we get to that after part. And when we get to the after, we got something else waiting for them there. Because they ignored Elijah. They ignored the teaching. Here's a man that stood up and sacrificed. The book says he's a daily sacrifice. 40 years every day he sacrificed for the black man.
That's right.
And you came and said you accepted. And as soon as he closed his eyes and took his spirit and went with his husband Allah, you let your true colors show. And because his son called him a dog and heat and everything, you bore witness. That's right. And now when Solomon, God himself stands up, you say the man is crazy. I heard him calling on radio talking about it, and he called and told me some things. But I'm God. So if you want to tell them, give them the tape, hey, we got something in store for them because they messed up royally.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, Father.
Yes, sir. And don't waste your time with that, brother. I'm not saying don't talk with people. You speak with anyone that speaks with you. But to purposely go out to try to sway them in the right path. It's also written in the Quran that it makes no difference whether you tell them or tell them not. Their ears and hearts has been sealed. All right? You let them know that I got a state called Ohio. I'm going to raise it up 6 miles high in the air. I got something waiting for them. All right? Yes, ma'am.
Assalamu alaikum, Father.
Wa alaikum salam.
Because I'm on post right now, I'll make my question brief. In regards to, can you share with us God's meaning for bankruptcy? Is it due to the lack of finances, or is it bigger than that?
Well, everything is, you can apply it to all 3 levels, spiritually, mentally, and physically. On the physical level, it's that you actually bankrupt. On the mental level, it's that you're unable to think properly. We may have to take you to an insane asylum or a house that deals with your mental thinking. And then you have people that call themselves thinking right, but they're spiritually bankrupt. They have nothing in the bank. They have nothing put in no specific place where they can draw on from the oneness to multiply themselves into the multiplications of the numbers or in their existence. They're bankrupt. So it can apply. It depends upon how you want to apply it. We can use everything is a symbol. It depends upon how you use it to describe what your intentions are. So you can. Most of us now, when we say bankrupt, we literally mean that we are bankrupt. We don't have no money in the bank in this one place to actually balance what we have been doing. So we're bankrupt. So we file for it. The devil does it. He didn't make it for black people, but since he made it a law, and then we go and do the same thing. And he said, "Oh, you bankrupt? Well, you have to pay me $700, $1,000, or $2,000 to declare you bankrupt." Hey, you tell them you bankrupt. Now they want to tell you to pay all this money, for this. You see?
Oh, yes, sir.
So the real bankruptcy is the spiritual. This is why I'm here now. I'm talking about business. I'm about the business. Like when Jesus did not go back with his father and mother, Joseph and Mary, when he was 12 years old, and they was going back towards their home, and they looked at him and said, "Where's Joseph? Where's Jesus?" He didn't come with us. So they went back. And when they went back, he was standing up in the church, which you call the tabernacles or the, what do you call it? The temples. And he was talking to the ones that were supposed to be in charge of the temples or have this knowledge of God. And he said, "Well, I won't be returning with you, mother and father. I have to be about the business of my father." You see?
Yes, sir. Now, in regards to bankrupt in the thinking, would you relate that to never having the idea or midway through losing the idea?
Midway through, in other words, you can have the idea. However, since there is 2 forces, 2 things that's speaking with you, the right one is Allah. Then the second thought or voice that comes to you, if he convinces you and you wrestle all night with him and lose, then you lose your balance on the right proper thinking. So you become mentally bankrupt. If you win, then you're not bankrupt.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Father. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Assalamu alaikum, Father.
Wa alaikum salam.
First of all, I want to thank you for allowing me and other brothers from Dallas to come and stand post and actually help in making some of the products and things of that sort. For properly relieving me of my post of being with the devil. Yes, sir. The fashion show yesterday, the sister spoke in relation to the freedom of the sisters in the fashion and how it was being expressed through females' expressions of the law. And I know the sisters often think that Muslims are the brothers. We have our sisters like in jail. And yesterday I got a chance to see the freedom of it, and I wanted you to kind of elaborate on it so they can kind of get a better picture as well.
No, sir. Our sisters are the most freest sisters on the planet.
Yes, sir.
And this is how. They are taught from mathematics that it is not proper and fitting for them to go out in any place at any hour that brings harm or danger to them, or to converse with that will bring danger to them, because they are built and constructed and made in a way that they receive. So why should we, as being their protectors, allow them to go to places where they will receive negative?
Yes, sir.
Receive the wrong type of thinking. So if we share with them the right thinking and they adopt it and take it on, and they start reflecting it, it makes them free. My daughter go wherever she want to go. And she can go anytime she wants, because she said, "Well, I want to go to the store. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. 5 brothers. Hey, we ready to go?"
Yes,
If she wasn't going, they wasn't going. But because she wanted to go, because she has learned what her father has been teaching her concerning the mathematical formulas of things and the rightness of things and the purpose and the aim of things, and she's married to the messenger, he can be sitting right there. He don't say, well, look, I don't want nobody carrying my wife no place. I'll do it myself. Sometimes he say, I'll go. They still say, well, we want to go too. Come on. I ain't paying for it. In other words, the knowledge that they gain as being sisters, it may look like they're in prison because they will not accept anything less than them.
Yes, sir.
So it makes it look like, well, y'all don't go no place because your father and your mother or your husbands, that's not it. It's that we have taught them the dangers of what will take place, and what if they do it, they put a burden on us to take it off them.
Yes, sir.
So if they're intelligent, they don't do it. So it makes it look like they're in jail, but they're not.
Right.
They're not. And matter of fact, this society has got them in jail. Until we get our own places, there's very few places that they can actually go. I'm going around the country now, especially after this, I'm going around, I'm going to start generating some funds from the believers and from those that are not believers and people, period. So that this can actually take place, and what I'm saying is to take place. However, when I do that, those that are with me, when we go into restaurants, people don't know who we are. You know, they bring the sloppy food, they have big fat waiters. You know, they want to stick their fingers in their mouth, wipe their nose, pull their ears, and stick their finger in your glass and bring it to you. They do this, believe me.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Now, a lot of you don't see it if you don't pay attention. If you already did, you don't notice that. But when you're in this type of knowledge, you see everything. You might not say nothing about it, but you see it.
That's right.
So when they bring it to the table to you, even when they brought the glass up here to me, they have a cap on it. Most people, they do that. They don't have no cap on it. But when you see this and you say something to the waiter, well, waiter, would you do so and so and so and so? We really can't accept this. Well, what's wrong with that? They have to take it and replace it because the customer is right. But the way they do it, they have such an attitude when they come back with what you did order or to replace it. So much attitude is in it, you don't want to eat it.
Yes, sir.
But we're still going from point to point.
Yes, sir.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And because the world is like that, it looks like we have locked our sisters up and nobody can touch them. That's not so.
Yes, sir.
They are free to move about to the level of their knowledge. It's like a child in a home. If he's just crawling around, we don't let him crawl to the edge of the stairs.
Yes, sir.
If they have enough knowledge and stability and balance about themselves, they can walk down the stairs, we watch them, and we see they can do it. We don't have to watch them no more. It's the same principle.
Yes,
we are held responsible for protecting our sisters. They will not be beautiful, nor will they be with you if you don't. They will be with another man or another man's idea.
Yes, sir.
So that's what it looks like. Are you married?
No, sir. Yes, no, sir.
Are you looking to be married?
Yes, sir.
Well,
Yes, sir.
we don't have no hold on the sisters. You see, it would be better if the sisters see somebody and they like it, to report to the captain that they like to talk with the brother. Then this way, if the brother actually accepts the sister, he got somebody. But at this time, since the transition is being made, and you see a sister you like because of her thinking.
Yes, sir.
Let the captain know, and if she accepts it, then you all speak and see if what you saw is what you really saw.
Yes, sir.
And see what happens from there. But before you get married, make sure you ask me or you ask mother. Let us know if it's with us.
Yes, sir. I'm a big student of the thinking, so I've been taking my time. So.
Yes, sir.
Also, the big Texan told me let you know that he is very aware of the blessings that you have sent him to Tallahassee. Him and his wife are having a night. He said he couldn't make it, but he did want to let you know that he's very aware of what you've been doing for him. And he wanted me to thank you for him.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And one last thing, I want to know if there would be an overall marketing plan for the products that we could use around.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, brother. I want this to go out. Oh, look, the harvest is ripe. We don't have no workers.
Yes, sir.
I want this to not just in the city. I want it to go everywhere.
Yes, sir.
I want them to experience cleanliness. So yes, sir, you in telemarketing and you doing this and the product, we have the product, if. As the support is being brought in or sent into us, and we continue this and multiply it, naturally we want it to spread. This is why it says, for surely Allah, thou art praised and magnified. We want to magnify this 2,000 by 3,000.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Father.
Yes, sir. We're not hiding nothing under the bushel.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I just want to know, was it going to be one devised in headquarters for all of us, or will we? I know we're free to do it, but I want to know, was there some kind of foundation?
See the secretary.
Yes, sir.
See the secretary.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, Father.
Wa alaikum salam.
I have two questions. First question is, what's the absolute definition to inner space?
Interspace?
Inner space.
Inner space is when you have a calculated distance from one body to another. They're out in space. Everything's in space. You know, we're riding on this planet that's floating in space from the will of Allah. However, we have a moon that's close to this planet. And that from that moon to the planet here, that's space in between. So that's inner space. Now, when you go out in space, you go beyond 500 billion miles outside of the family of stars that, for this particular planet, a family of planets. Then you go out into the family, out into another galaxy, out into stars. That's out in space. But the inner space, everything that is within that area, that we actually, that represents us, that we have immediate access to, that's inner space, interspace. It's like, say, I go from your house to my house. It's like interstate. You live in Kansas, and I'm living in Missouri. I go right across the river. Right. I'm going interstate.
Right. I understand. Second question is, I heard you say on one of your tapes that you can roll the universe up like a scroll.
I can do
a scroll, or I don't.
You said I can destroy the universe like a scroll?
Right.
Oh, yes.
And you said that we let you know that when we give birth to twins. So I wanted to know what was the absolute meaning behind that statement.
I didn't clearly understand what you mean.
You said that we can roll the universe up like a scroll. And we showed you that we can do that when we give birth to twins.
Yes, sir. In other words, it shows that the power of duplication. That's all it means. In other words, if you say you think it's butter, but it's not, you got to memorize. In other words, I can reproduce the same thing that is here. And to show you that this can be done, we make twins in the same womb. Some of them come out identical twins. If they're two girls, they'll be identical, look just alike. That's not for no specific reason other than to show the power of Allah that He can make it twice. That's all. Now, if it's a boy and a girl, or two different sexes, then it's for a different purpose. They have a real purpose in life at that time coming in that way. But this is to show that this earth or this universe, I have the power and the knowledge to roll it up, just like a shade, and do it. You never know it existed, and reproduce it. I'm not saying that's what I'm going to do. I'm showing that this is the power and the knowledge that I have, and I'm sharing it with you. We're taking step by step. Step by step. And when it gets to the point where we can actually do that, there's no need for that. Just correct this. But if we wanted to, we could. Now, this means also we don't have to roll this up, but reproduce it someplace else. So then we have two of them.
I understand in a statement. If you don't have any workers to work for you, I'm ready to work for you, Father. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, sir. Thank you. One of the main things that we have to do, as far as like being in business, the brothers and sisters that are already in business under the burden of this devil, that will not allow them to grow as what they could grow, what they could be. When we grow to the point where we can actually support them to produce to the maximum of their thinking, where it will actually benefit us, this is what we have to do. We have people in every type of businesses. However, the devil got it so he limits their growth. They can't go but so far because they have no one to support them. If they go to the bank and ask the bank, well, listen, I need a loan or I need a line of credit to do thus and so. You want $500,000 credit. He'll tell you, I'll give you $100,000. He already knows what it's going to produce. However, if you come to us and say, well, we need a line of credit, and we find out what you're doing, and you allow us to be a part of this so we'll make sure it's going to turn out right, then we say, okay, well, we'll give you the credit. Then this means business is flourishing or multiplying itself for our own purpose. We don't have to do everything. Just get everything that is in motion and make it serve us. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum, Father.
Walaikum salam.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for allowing my family to arrive here safely, and also thank you for giving us an opportunity and a reason and purpose for being here.
Yes, sir.
I have one question. It's concerning business. Recently, I had an opportunity to attend Amway type of seminar.
Yes, sir.
And I sat there and I was able to see the mathematics of the idea. And the first thing that came to mind was the nation needing money. However, I didn't know whether to actually step out on the opportunity that was being presented to me before I spoke to you. And I wanted to know, is it necessary at this time for me to engage in that type of endeavor?
No, sir. Forget that. We're coming out with our own products, period. And we're going to make sure that, and I really don't want any of you all to be no peddlers. I don't want you going door to door. Fix up your own door. We're going to make some doors. You know, like I said, the work is plenty. Just because we don't have a spot for you right now, tomorrow we will. If you do go and involve yourself in that type of activity, do it just for the express purpose of learning the trade or learning the idea. But keeping in mind that we're going to put it in our own house and do that. Not go and say, well, you want to start this, it looks good, and you can make money on this. Solomon has money. I just got to get to it. And what will make me to get to it, if you all are with me and showing me that this is what you really want. And overnight, boom, I'm there. And everything will break loose for you. Especially young brothers and sisters. We know that you got the energy. You got to have something to do. I can't just keep talking. We have to make this real. So forget Amway. They just show you that's another way to trick you. In other words, they know what is right and they show you. When you go to Amway, what they do, they purchase everything. They don't owe nobody no bills. Even when you get it from them, you got to pay them before you get the product. You see? So they show you that they know how to do things and alleviate all that pressure. But the government, the White House where I'm going, won't allow them to do that. These big business and corporations won't allow them to do that. Matter of fact, so much so, they don't let them put their products in the store. Oh, you want to do this? We can't stop it, but you ain't putting it in my store. And we'll never say nothing about you. Like you don't exist. If you don't stumble upon it, we're not going to tell nobody. You see?
Yes,
so unless you know, they know how to do it.
Yes, sir.
But we're going to do it because we're supposed to.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Father. I have one more question. Some of these major millionaires and billionaires, these Rockefellers and these Carnegies and some of these people that you allow to have these monies, however, in order for them to attain these monies, did they have to be in harmony with the universal laws of God?
The ones that acquired quite a bit of money?
Yes, sir. I'm talking about the ones that have quite a bit of money.
You said, did they have to be in harmony with the laws of creation?
Yes, sir.
No, sir. No, sir. Most of the ones, it reads in the Bible that it would be as hard as for a man to enter into heaven as it is a camel to go through an eye of a needle. So they didn't acquire their wealth from being in harmony with nature. They were in harmony with the devil. Now, if they were in harmony with nature, that statement would not be made. And it's made because in order for you to be rich that way, you have to acquire habits that is unsightly, ungodly. So you can't get into heaven. It takes a while to turn your habit around. You don't want to give it up. So when somebody's talking about heaven, like Jesus said, hey, you want to be with me? Give up all your wealth, curse your parents, come on, follow me. They said, what? You was talking all right until you said that. No, I ain't giving up this wealth. They might curse the parents, but they ain't giving up the wealth. So they can't get into heaven. You see?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Father.
Yes, sir. However, this is what is going to take place. The black man's nature is righteousness. So those people that have this money, Michael Jackson, and a few others that are billionaires or millionaires, when they see that that's a burden and that God really is love, if they want to accept it, then they're going to take what they have and offer it to the masses, which is us. Matter of fact, we've already seen it, where I would be speaking on a rostrum such as this in a much larger place, and my whole family was on the rostrum with me. And the stars, Michael Jackson and some other people, Dionne Warwick and those, were in the audience holding the mics to the people that asked us questions as a family. I'm God, brother. This thing is playing out. It might not look like it now. You keep sticking with it. You're going to see. He surely is God, and I'm with it.
Yes, sir.
You know, it's a hurtful thing to get in a posture where you can have everything. The minister. 4 or 5 different homes. 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 different cars. He got everything that one man could possibly want. He has people following him, adoring him. However, since it's done in the wrong mindset, it is now becoming a burden. He wants to get away and be by himself. He don't want nobody saying anything to him, because he's got to continually perform. He's no burden to me. Because when you got to this step, I got something else for you to do. Because I'm constantly moving. But when you marking time in one place all the time, and the people don't caught up with you, and they still calling you leader, where you going? And you ain't leading. They right there with you. You see? So it becomes a burden. But with me, I'm constantly stepping forward. In a few days, I want to pick it up a little faster until I get into a run. You see?
Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to marketing the products as soon as possible, Father. Using some of the talent that you bestowed on me. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you.
Wa alaikum salam. Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, Father.
Before you, are you all learning anything from what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm answering the question, however, the answers is showing us the formulas and the keys to be actually independent. This isn't something that we're just saying, and I hope you all, I asked the secretary, is the bus driver here? Did he bring you all over here? Make sure that the bus driver is taken care of. I would like for him, if you would talk with him to see if he would, or you've already talked with him? As far as taking you all around on the bus to show you the things that we're getting started, so you can actually see it. That's just the beginning of it. All right? Yes, sir, brother.
Assalamu alaikum, Father.
Wa alaikum salam.
First of all, so I'd like to tell you thanks for all the blessing I received from back last year in June when I came to Kansas City. I spoke to you about trying to get started in St. Louis, and you was telling me that you might leave me alone for a while and not to worry about the brothers. Well, I've been alone, but I've been trying to speak with a few brothers, and lately, this past week, my mind has been like getting shocked because one brother I had a little conflict with, we was talking. I was trying to walk in the lesson, but the brother told me he didn't want to deal with the lesson, that the minister's the one, and he put a lot of bass in his voice, started kicking stuff around. Brother had an accident Wednesday, and he spoke bad about you, and I just found out this morning in the accident, the brother bit half his tongue off, so, you know, I wonder what the brother can say now, but, and then another thing, brother, I spoke with you in Atlanta about trying to find a wife, you know, because I told you I didn't want to get this far to meet you and then mess up, and now I'm courting a sister, so I'd like to tell you thanks for that. And the last thing, brother, last October when I came to Kansas City, I asked you what could I do to get into the school system, and you told me just be myself and just go. And I was allowed to go to one high school that I used to dream about going to this high school, and I got accepted to go there once to speak, and they invited me back, so I went back every day well, not every day, but once a month from October until the school ended. So I like to tell you thanks for all those blessings, Father, because everything that I asked, I received. And my question is, what can I do for you? Because I know I don't have any goals anymore. Once I met you, ain't nothing else out here I want. So, I mean, what do I do now?
Just be yourself, brother. Be God. In other words, you don't need no permission from me to be right. In other words, you went to speak in the school. Now go take it.
Yes, sir.
You know, talk to your brother, and and explain. Like the brother said, the brother spoke ill of me and whatnot. Now he's got half his tongue bit off or whatever. I want to say this. If you can think about how much you love your children, especially when they're at an age where they can't do very much for themselves. But they're obedient children, and they show you that they love you, and they receive your love from them in a respectful manner. That's a real bond when that happens. Who would be the most perfect baby on the planet other than myself with the scientists as being my parents or my guardians or my babysitters? It's a lot of times people try to do things to me or about me or say things like that. I don't know it, but they do. And they'll do you in. Believe me. It's written in the Bible, and I think the Reverend can attest to this. It reads that when you don't have no help, ask your brothers in the sky. It's talking about the scientists. It's on the ships. You want to ask them to help you. They know what you're thinking before you think it.
Yes, sir.
And if the brother thought that ill of me and was pronouncing it and bringing it up as though it was regurgitated, that may have irritated them. It's quite a few things that I said that after I started learning how to use this power that I have, some things they advised me not to do, and I tried it. I didn't disobey them. I tried it, but to a point where I didn't disobey them. What I seen what it would do. And some things they encouraged me to do. However, I'm thinking, I said, well, I don't want to hurt this. This is going to hurt this person. But they advised me to do it, and if I'm too slow doing it, they do it. This was to teach me, don't get hung up on personal things. You have to act according to the situation that confronts you. Some people have come up and been outright nasty to me, and I could have just did them in. I just looked at them and walked away. Next time I heard they was dead, or they done had a leg cut off, or they was in a terrible accident, or their wife left them or shot them. And I said, oh man, maybe I should have did it, and it wouldn't have been so severe. Otherwise, I'm saying this because they love me.
Yes, sir.
I'm an obedient child. How would the God make it real if he says, I will give you rest? He's not coming to do it himself. But he has those that is employed in his company, in his mindset, and in his power. Protect that one. They can't nothing happen. And so some people come up and want to do something crazy and say, hey, you ain't going to do nothing about it? Well, I'll get them. You see?
Yes, sir. I bear witness, and I thank you because I know I feel protected, brother, so I'm glad I met you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. You keep on doing it, brother. Well, this will be the last question for today. I hope you all get the tape. I think we have 3 mass duplicators. I think we have 3. To make sure you get it, you'll have enough time to get it. How many of you are going to dine with us? All right. If you don't get what you want to get as soon as you leave the auditorium, during the course of we have until 9 o'clock before we have to really vacate the building, so you should be able to get everything this time. Where you don't have to write into to headquarters to make an order for it. You should be able to get it now if you have the money. Is that clear? And if you don't have it and you're really with me, let the secretary know. Make some type of arrangement. We're not here to deprive you of anything. Yes, sir, brother.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
This is the first time having the opportunity to speak with you. I'd like to know, since we are the original man, and I just want to actually know how is it best to express ourselves. I'm a little nervous. Being the first, all right, being that we're the first, I'd like to know how it's best for us to express ourselves being that we have the first 4 planets representing female.
You mean how does the man represent himself?
Being that the first four planets are represented as the female principles or qualities.
Right. Well, you know, in order for us to become man and then God, we got to come through the female.
Yes, sir.
So if we're going to be God, if you come through that type of knowledge that the first 4 represents,
yes, sir,
then you come into actually being yourself. Well, this is why, you know, Solomon he's known for a lot of sisters around him or the water around him.
Yes, sir.
It's hard for another brother to be right with a brother as a servant and he be free. However, it's easy for a sister to be around a brother or sisters to be around a brother if the brother is just, because he don't tie them up and they keep everything around him clean. However, the brother has to have already gone through that period, that type of knowledge, where he has applied the discipline to himself.
Yes, sir.
And because you have applied it to yourself and now you are comfortable in it, so much so that it is you. You don't even have to think about it. So then this is when you start to actually become a man. And then from then you start dealing with men with ideas. And you sit, stand, walk, however you want to do, to figure out ways to actually implement the ideas, plural. Then you start working yourself into being God. That's how it is done. And you don't have no fear, brother, what you do, but we do be submissive. Especially, I don't care if it's a lost man, what we call a lost man, or somebody that don't know, or a bum off the street that looks bummy. And if you see him doing something, you may see him doing a welding job or something, he looks like I don't know what. But the man is doing it perfectly. Or you see him painting, and every stroke that he does is almost like magic. But he himself looks like nothing. If you want the art of knowing how to do that, you got to humble yourself to the brother and ask him, would he be so kind as to teach you what is he doing, or how to do that? Then you can gain what he has if he's willing to share it with you. But if you make a judgment right away, I don't want nothing to do with him. He should go clean himself up first. We must remember all of us are in the pit of hell, and it's muddy. All of us are dirty to one extent or another, except myself. So that's how you be yourself. Whatever you see that you need to do, if it's right, and you don't know how, humble yourself, even if it's not to a person, and if it's in a book, submit yourself to reading the book to find out.
Yes, sir.
That's how you do it.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Assalamu
Walaikum salam. I hope you all do enjoy yourself for the rest of the evening. If you don't see me, jump on my wife, because she's hidden me. I don't know how long I will stay here. I got some other things to do. I may have some bean pie, or taste this brother's bean pie, see exactly what it is. But I want you all to enjoy yourself and see the products. And if they've worked out a schedule for you all to actually go on the bus to see the few things that we're getting started, take the opportunity and go. And the bus driver, make sure he eats free and take a slice of cake home with him. All right, I'll see you all tomorrow. We have some announcements, I think. Well, that's a big announcement. We have some announcement I think the secretary or my son wants to give to you that will help you in being expedient in what we have for you to participate in. Love you. Salam alaikum.